You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Well, based on this depth chart by the Jacksonville Jaguars, I wonder what position Austen Lane would be playing if this was 2011, 2012, 2010. I got a feeling you would be like, I don't know, like nickel corner, running back, kicker, punter.
Maybe D end, huh?
Maybe.
Be logical, I think.
I don't know. Like, did the Jags really only have one nickel corner?
Oh. I mean, there's a competition right now, Brent.
Between who? Blank, 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 and blank?
I mean, I think they're not trying to, like... Come on, man. It's depth charts. I assume Jerry Jones is in that mix.
I know. Chad Muma or Devin Lloyd. Chad Muma or Devin Lloyd. I thought Foye was playing the weak side. This is
You thought Foye was playing the weak side. I never said he's playing the weak side.
Well, he was asked that and talked about it at a news conference.
And I said, I still think he's going to play the middle, especially like out of that nickel.
Well, the nickel, everybody.
I mean, everyone's playing the middle, but I'm saying like he's going to have the middle linebacker responsibilities and he won't be blitzing or like running from sideline to sideline. I think he'll be more in the middle. But yeah, we'll see.
It was fun to watch the news conference today with Ryan Nielsen. We were there, and he was asked about the depth chart, and he just kind of like, it was like one of those.
Yeah,
like why?
It's like the salary cap.
Yeah, it's. They just were throwing names out there, I think. I don't know if I don't know what their intent is. I don't know what they hope to accomplish with it. I think it's just something they have to do. And so they put something in there. And he joked it was like etched in sand. We'll get to the soundbite in a minute. But it's just interesting how flippant it was, which is expected. It's the way it should be because they don't even want a depth chart right now. They're trying to preach competition and what this thing looks like in a few weeks. I mean, Christian Braswell, starting nickel, he's played actually okay at camp, I think, but he ain't your starting nickel.
Probably not, no.
Right?
No, I would absolutely not.
I don't think so. So a little bit of a chuckle, I think, with the depth chart is the bottom line. I don't know if we learned a whole lot from it, or maybe you did. I mean, did you take it more? Like, I didn't take it that serious, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Maybe I should take it more serious, but I didn't. And I think I was kind of confirmed that by Nielsen a little bit today, kind of the way he laughed it off.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I took this depth chart when I saw it with like the thinnest, finest grain of salt of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does nothing.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I did like because I was going down the offensive side first is what catches your attention, and maybe Hamby throw it up there again if you get a chance. But what caught my attention first is Trevor Mac Jones Beathard.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I thought they would put like Beathard, the incumbent, at number 2 in a depth chart like this, and so
or put him at like Mac Jones or Beathard
because they do that a lot now. So I thought that part was pretty interesting, and then I started going down the defense side. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I can't take this thing that serious. No. Don't read into it too much. I was waiting to see all the noise on social media because what happens is this depth chart comes out with the game book for the Jags against the Chiefs. So they do like a whole, preview. And that's part of it, the game notes, so the broadcasters could see it and everybody else.
So, I mean, listen, once again, take this with a grain of salt. This isn't going to be the final depth chart. Everybody calm down. But I will say this. I think the purpose of this depth chart and why some of the depth could be a little, like, debatable of, why is Jordan Jefferson last on this depth chart? You drafted him, where you drafted him, and he's the last dude. Mason Smith's down there as well. Because I think the guys, like, towards the end of the depth chart, we'll be getting more reps in the preseason. I think this is a way to justify saying, all right, Jordan Jefferson, you're 4th right now in the depth chart. You're going to get a lot of reps this first preseason game. Let's see what you got. Let's build yourself up a little bit. Like, that to me is what this depth chart says more than anything. It's the fact that, like, Mac Jones, C.J. Beathard. Okay, well, maybe they want to see Mac Jones a lot more than C.J. Beathard. Mac Jones is the 2, C.J. Beathard's the 3. You kind of know what you're getting with C.J. Beathard right now. Mac Jones, not so sure, so maybe he gets the first, full half of reps with more of the starters, and then Beathard comes in. So to me, this isn't even a script of the depth chart of the regular season or what it's going to look like. This is seriously the script they're putting out in front of you for the preseason game number 1.
Yeah, and that's a good call. There's something else on here that catches my attention. I don't know if you guys see it as well, and maybe I missed, but look at the first Outside of Brian Thomas Jr., I think I've got something in my way. The bar's in the way of the graphic right now. But is there in the first really two teams, those two left columns on offense and defense, is there even a young player on there? Is there a first player on for a rookie or even a second year? Well, I guess probably get some second year guys, but it's almost like the left side of your screen is for veterans and the right side is for the young players. Now, some of that might be natural, but it almost looks like it's divided that way. To your point, the Jordan Jeffersons of the world, the Mason Smiths of the world.
I think the only second-year guy would be Anton because I'm not counting Braswell.
Well, Brenton Strange as well. And
I thought you said on the
Joe, just the first column. Really, Brian Thomas Jr. is the only rookie. Right. Which, again, that's your first-round pick, and that's obvious. He's going to be there. But the Mason Smith thing's interesting because why wouldn't he maybe be pushed up? Like, why is Deshaun Dixon? I know they don't play the same position, but why is Deshaun Dixon in the second column, but a guy like Mason Smith is in, like, the fourth columm?
Because, like I said, I think Mason Smith's going to get a lot of reps in those preseason games.
I'm not really asking.
Oh, you're asking it? Oh, okay. Okay.
I was just like, if you're trying to compute, I think this is a combination of what you said and young guy versus old guy.
Sure.
You're going to put those guys at the back of the roster. So I don't know what we're learning here from other than like you said. I think you're
learning who's going to get a lot of reps in the preseason.
Which did we learn that? I mean, we know for 3 quarters those young guys are going to play.
Yeah, but
on Saturday.
Yeah, but like I think the Jordan Jefferson thing says a lot because I would have expected maybe like at the second team, so then maybe he wouldn't have played so much. Maybe like the 3s and 4s would have played a lot more. So I mean, I think with Jordan Jefferson, Mason Smith, where they're kind of, I mean, let's be honest, they're locked in on this roster already.
Yeah.
And like, you know, assuming Eric Armstead comes back and everything, but like you're probably gonna have Devon Hamilton at that one starter. But yeah, you know Jordan Jefferson's gonna get his reps, but this shows that he might be getting an extended period of reps now in the first preseason game.
Let's listen to Ryan Nielsen talk about the depth chart, kind of joke about it from this morning a couple of hours ago.
The depth chart is etched in sand. So it can change. It really, it could be game to game, playing time. I mean, we take this thing, we've talked about this, it's a one day at a time. Every single day counts, every rep counts. Doesn't matter who that rep is against. We're evaluating that player for what he's done on that particular rep on tape. And that matters, you know, in every aspect of the program. So yeah, if the first one comes out, yeah, it's the first one. You know, you have to put the name somewhere, right? Yeah, it's something you have to do. Probably look for a different depth chart the next time, you know, because this game will be, you know, move some guys around.
So that's Ryan Nielsen this morning talking about what just came out on that depth chart. Yeah, expect a different one, he said, in week 2 and probably in week 3 going into the season where they, really in week 1, where they get to whittle it down to a 53-man roster. We'll see some of the position battles. We talked about it. We think it's a secondary is where a lot of the action is. That does not mean a fifth linebacker spot or a defensive tackle spot or a last offensive lineman spot is not up for grabs. I think those will be some pretty good battles. You hope those are good battles because that means you probably have some tough decisions to make. I do find it a little bit interesting, and Nielsen pointed this out because they've added some defensive guys, and Amos, one of them, back there for safety, which probably indicates something about Wingard and his health and how long that could be because by most accounts that's going to be a little bit on the knee for Andrew Wingard. But the Jags have added pass rushers and safety, and they've added some bodies in the last 5-6 days. Been pretty active, I would say relatively active on the transaction wire. I don't know what that means about how they feel about some of those spots. He said today that they upgraded with some of those additions. So what are they searching for? I'm not sure exactly, but it feels like they're looking for something. Many of those players they signed were actually pass rushers, so it speaks to potential depth in the pass rush.
I think you're showing up your edge depth. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not looking for guys like Rasheem Green to come in and be bona fide starters right away. You got plenty of those guys now with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, but you need guys to come in and provide some sort of rotation. And, you know, the cool thing about the pass rushing position is that you can get a good idea in preseason in one-on-ones who's gifted, who can kind of exceed the next level, and who can make the team. So I just think, you know, what they're showing right now is maybe we're not as deep as we want to be at the edge rusher position, so let's bring some more guys in. Let's create competition, and may the best man win.
Yeah, and I think you're hoping for some of those guys to emerge. My read on it is you're hoping for a guy like Abdullah to emerge a little bit, and it's not happening maybe at the speed that you want it to happen. Like that's just me reading into it. And we'll see. I did disagree a little bit. I get what he's saying from a coach perspective, but I think we got a little coach speak when I asked him about the difference between playing on a practice field and inside the game field. He basically said, "Yeah, it's the same." And yeah, not my experience watching guys. It's not the same. You can have stars out on that practice field that aren't necessarily, they don't translate into the stadium when you play. So, but he answered it from a perspective of, hey, we practice like we play, right? That kind of thing, right? And I get that. I do think there's a difference, though. I think you're going to see some guys that show up. Let's just say a Denzel Mims, right? Mims has been very good at practice. Mm-hmm. Does he show up in these preseason games to earn himself a back of the roster spot? We learned Elijah Cooks last year was a guy that showed up in practice and then showed up in the games. Like that was a thing. But we've had a lot of examples over the years. That's why we have these topics like, hey, who's going to be the training camp star that we fall in love with this year? And once he gets to the second preseason game, we're like, what happened to that guy? That just happens. It happens because it's a high-performance business. You're on the big stage. Sometimes you play well, sometimes you don't. And you get very few opportunities if you're some of those kind of guys to play that way. Here's Ryan Nielsen talking about how they try to prevent that from being a big difference walking across the parking lot and playing inside the stadium.
Don't really look at it, in terms of that. What we're doing is we're trying to get our best 11, and then whoever makes the here's really how we look at it. You make the roster, you're a starter. When you have a helmet and shoulder pads and pads on for the game, you're going to go in, and you have to view yourself as a starter. That's how we look at our guys. And so that's the process that we're going through: camp, preseason games, our best roster, our best defensive roster, and those guys are all going to get in there and play. They're all going to have an opportunity, and so we have to view everybody as a starter when, ultimately the 53 come out. That's how we're looking at it. Talked about the injuries and things that happen, and who knows, and so if you're on the roster, hey, you better be ready to play. And so that's what the mindset that we're creating, developing, and day to day.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a morph topic. I think that was a previous answer and a better answer actually. I asked, do you play coy with the depth chart a little bit for the Dolphins game, or really for this whole month? Like you have a weapon that you maybe have an advantage coming up in week one where, they know Ryan Nielsen, the defense coordinator, and know what he's about, but they don't know him with this personnel. So are you a little bit, is there a balancing act where you're a little more vanilla in the preseason?
No, I know it, but from like a depth, like from players, like do you think Miami's going to be like, wait a second, Christian Braswell's going to be starting over like maybe like Savage? Like, come on. No one's having those conversations. Or like, what's this? Jordan Jefferson's fourth right now? Like, should we be, like no one cares. Like whoever they throw out there, and then if the Miami Dolphins are ready to go, they'll be ready to go. Like I don't think they're taking into account like, oh, Chad Mumma's starting at will right now. Like I don't think they care.
I don't think the Miami Dolphins care about week one depth chart. I do think the Miami Dolphins care about what tape is going to be out there on what they're trying to do on week one, week two, week three preseason, and what they're kind of implementing schematically and how they're using certain players in even a couple of series, right?
I mean, if I'm McDaniel and I'm scouting Ryan Nielsen, I'm not even really watching the preseason games of the Jaguars because it's so vanilla. Like I'm going back to Atlanta. Yeah. Like that's, I'm trying to think of when I played in Jacksonville, like a new coach that came into town. I can't remember who it was, but like in the
on the
division, opposition. Yeah. And I mean, we barely even watch the preseason games. Like you just go back to last year of what they do because that's where you can find your tendencies and everything. Like the preseason, it's going to be so vanilla. You're not going to see. You probably see like 10% of what a defensive playbook, what an offensive playbook could be. So. Yeah, you're not going to ingrain yourself a lot in preseason tape. Yeah,
and that was really the nature of the question. Less about the depth chart, more about over the next month, you have something that you can kind of hide. Mm-hmm. You're not hiding Doug Peterson's offense and the players that are on offense. We've seen them. There's plenty of game tape on him, to your point. But I do think how the Jags utilize, again, Ryan Nielsen, you know what he wants to do. If you're a coach, you kind of get principles and here's what they're probably going to try to do. But how they're using certain personnel, like we're still wondering how they're going to use Darnell Savage. Like the more you keep Miami in the dark about stuff like that too, I think how much does it matter? I don't know. But I do think this is a league of paranoia and secrecy at times where you think if you have that little advantage, even the littlest one, you're going to take it. And I think that's why you stay so vanilla in the preseason. I think the same thing can be said about this new kickoff rule. Like we're not going to fully learn about the new kickoff rule until the first month of the season. Yeah. Because why would any special teams coordinator tip off the league and what they're doing? You might do the basic stuff, the fundamental stuff we saw in the Hall of Fame game. But I don't think any of it's going to look different. Week 1 in the NFL.
It should. Now, whether whether make a difference or not, we don't whether know, someone's got the secret formula, the secret sauce, time will tell. But it should look a little different. At least they're going to try different things.
Do you? It's so interesting you brought that up, and I know you couldn't give a specific example of a coach coming in, but that's okay. Do you remember being surprised in Week 1 a little bit? Like, hey, we think this is going to happen, and this happens by week 6. You have so much tape, right? It's totally different. You know what they're doing.
I mean, we were never really surprised because every team's going to game plan different. Like what you watch on film from a game won't be the same scheme, whether it's offense or defense, that you'll probably see when you play. You'll see tendencies and you'll see what they like to do, but it's going to always be different. And that applies to offense and defense. I mean, I remember when I was in Chicago and we played Philadelphia. We were taken by surprise even in the preseason in terms of, the no-huddle offense that Philly was running because that's when Chip Kelly first got there and he was trying to
Nobody knew, right?
Nobody knew. So, that took us by surprise. Yeah. But, in terms of different, if a team goes from kind of being just a standard power run football team to all of a sudden Chip Kelly comes in and it's a no-huddle, you're gonna be sucking win number 1 and number 2. You're gonna be like, holy hell, we maybe weren't ready for this. But everything else, I mean, it's football. There's wrinkles, there's motions and things, but usually you've seen everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that, and there's such a tendency play, and I guess that's kind of my point. There's so much tendency involved in how you prep for a game that when you don't really have a tendency of a guy how he's used this personnel in Jacksonville, which, by the way, is way better than the Atlanta personnel last year. I mean, the personnel that he has to play with compared to what Atlanta was last year, I mean, it's a lot better here in Jacksonville, quite frankly.
But, see, this is my point, though. To me, it's more of scheme than it is personnel. Joe Cullen always said, who are we playing? We're playing gray matter. It doesn't matter the players that we're playing against. It's what they do. Yes, you have to take into account the game records, especially if you're on offense. You have to account for when you play the Texans. Probably have to account for Hunter, right? Have to have all eyes on him. So you have to watch out for those game records. But you don't sit in a meeting room and say, okay, well, this guy's playing this spot, so they're gonna do. No, it's what is the scheme? What are they gonna do? And you can tell better by formation charts and tendencies as opposed to who's playing those positions.
Yeah, that's a good way to answer a question. I mean, you probably answer it that way. That you're not going to see. It's not going to be that surprising, Brent. Right, and that's okay. But I'm curious about that, and partly I'm curious because the league kind of indicates this to us. The league indicates over the years that 1, they're paranoid,
sure,
and 2, they think it's rocket science. The coaches think they're coming up with. Well, the next greatest thing. A lot. There's just some ego involved in that.
There's definitely ego involved, but some coaches actually are kind of rocket scientists and do a pretty damn good job of drawing up stuff.
Listen, I'll tell you the soundbite. I know everybody the soundbite of the offseason might have been Doug Peterson talking about the play calling. I think the soundbite of the offseason, I'm going to have to go back and find this one. Well, I think it's Trevor Lawrence talking about the offense back in April. And when he got back, and this would have been an April 15th or something like that, or maybe April 8th, I don't know, whenever they got back in the building, and he did a news conference. And he was just asked about being back and all this stuff. And he talked about how this offense is going to evolve. And he used words like it's going to be different, it's going to look different, it's going to feel different. And I don't know if we fully understand why or know why. So
fullback.
And maybe it's the power, but you've mentioned, is it a power run game? Is it more used to that? What does that mean to Brent listening to it or to the fan listen to it, what does that mean to Trevor? Like, are we going to actually see it? Or could it be just a simplification of a play call? That what he was talking about. You know what I mean? So that's that's the gray for, I think, us going into week one. And that might even play out over a few weeks, depending on what team you're playing, what scheme you're playing, how you match up. And I'm just curious, could it be what we were talking about yesterday, more use of the 2 tight end set, right? With Brent and Strange, get him involved. Is it more ETN in the passing game? That's what we wonder. Is it just the acquisition? Was Trevor talking about the acquisition of Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr., who hadn't been acquired at that time yet when he was talking about this, but of going down the field more, right? So I just don't know what that is, but I think these, to me, are poignant moments, at least in front of a microphone, which is what we have, that say, okay, this could be a little bit different. And I think Nielsen fits that for me, too. I don't know fully, and I've been very transparent in this. I don't know what their defense is going to look like. I think it's reason to get excited about it, but I don't have a great vision of what this is going to look like. Now, this is at the same time as defenses around the league are morphing, in a sense. They're morphing as much as ever before into this hybrid. I don't even know why we call it 3-4 and 4-3, quite frankly, because it's such a hybrid.
It's interchangeable.
I don't know, the nickel, to your point in some of our conversations, is the safety, and there's 3 safety looks, which the Jags have employed the last couple of years, but the rest of the league is starting to employ quite a bit. So these might just be natural trends that are going on in the league. But to me, it creates an unknown as more of a novice fan. I don't claim to be like this X's and O's guru in football. So what does that look like when we're at the stadium in Miami at Hard Rock on September 8th is very intriguing to me.
So if I was going to make a prediction, I've kind of echoed this a couple times now that I've been at training camp, but if I was going to make a prediction of what this defense and Ryan Nielsen's scheme would look like, and you kind of take some of the clues that we've been given from press conferences, from Ryan Nielsen, from Trayvon Walker, what he said, from Foye Lukin, what he's said, I think that you're going to see Trayvon Walker moving down a lot. I think you're going to see a strong side linebacker, or a linebacker, whether that's going to be Foye or whether that's going to be Lloyd, kind of on the edge a little more. So it could almost it'll look like a 52 is what you would call it. You call it a bear. You call it a lot of things. But what you're going to see, I think, is Trayvon bump down, linebacker on the line of scrimmage, and in that way, you're going to have a little more confusion of who can drop back, who's going to blitz, and things like that. That's if I was going to make a prediction and put the money down, that's what I would say this defense is going to look like. So that's going to be the main, the key. Yeah,
that makes sense to me. So in that piece, you think Lloyd would be the guy up at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Lloyd more than Foye. I think if you make an argument for Foye to be on that line, I mean, he still has to be the general of the defense. And once again, when I say general, I understand that regardless of where Foye lines up, he's got the green dot. He's making the calls. But it's a lot easier to get guys lined up, make the calls, refer them back to you, standing in the middle of the field, as it is opposed to standing on the end line of the scrimmage.
Well, not only that, but if you put him up to the line of scrimmage, and I'm not saying you can't do that. We actually saw a little bit of that over the last couple of years with him from time to time. But if you do that more often, you take away his tackling prowess, which is one of the best in the National Football League at it, right? I mean, now you're making him do one thing where he can go play the entire sideline to sideline if he's back there. One other note I thought today was interesting, and just little clues to your point, is when they were asked about Muma, Ryan Nielsen he said, hey, he can do it all too. He's played all 3 different positions in OTAs. You can put him on the line of scrimmage and pass rush a little bit. You can drop him into coverage. Yeah. So the skill set's pretty wide for Muma, at least from the appearance of Nielsen.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, because Devin Lloyd gained 12, 15 pounds, right? That's been the story, one of the big stories.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, well, that's because he's going to be playing in the middle. And I say, not so fast, my friends. I say he above the 15 pounds because that dude's going to be setting the edge.
Yeah.
That's why I think he added the weight.
Yeah, it's just a fascinating part of it.
Bookmark it, Hamby.
Yeah. Please do. No, do bookmark it. I think these are the things that we are guessing a little bit, and I guess that's my overall point. Is that mean the Miami Dolphins are guessing a little bit, or they just know a hell of a lot more football, which they probably do, right? So it'll be. I think that's interesting. I don't buy. I kind of laugh. I kind of say it tongue in cheek that these guys think sometimes that they're sending someone to the moon with some of the play calls and everything else. And I just kind of laugh at it. And again, how it's become a more transparent league, but it still is a paranoid league. It's just the way the league has been for the NFL in the building, what you hide, what you say, we were sitting on the sideline today at practice and you're wondering why they put this out the way they did. I think there's a simplicity to it, right? It's like, we just put names on the thing. That's it. Mm-hmm. To your point, was how we're going to play. But there are some people who are like, well, they're giving Christian Braswell was a draft pick. We got to pump his ego up a little bit. Like, we got to make sure we tell him we love him. You're going to put him up there. Like, did they really go that deep thinking about it? Like, I don't think so. Yeah, but again, that's just some of the things that come up. Mm-hmm. I think you can overthink the process, absolutely. But I guess that's what we get 3 hours a day to do here on the Brent Martineau Show. On the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. We'll hear from Ryan Nielsen a little bit more from Jags practice today. A little more Gabe Davis, who, more I think about Gabe Davis, it's got to be a critical part of this thing. Got to be a real big part of this thing. In Jacksonville, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. It's a Wednesday. It's a Whataburger Wednesday. Nice shirt. Sport the orange shirt on a Whataburger Wednesday here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. A nicer day in Jacksonville. It is comfortable out. Now, the sun's not out, but that's okay. The rain is gone, and it had a little breeze out there at practice this morning. It is beautiful. Feels like you're up north a little bit in August. Lovely day here in the River City. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Oh, man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh, my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out GWOutdoorLiving.com for your free estimate.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's hard to put a price on comfort, especially when you use that comfort on a daily basis. But if we're going to put a price on it, how does the lowest price guaranteed sound? Furniture Source is going to have the biggest brands, whether it's Ashley, Casper, or Tempur-Pedic, and once again, it's going to be the guaranteed lowest price in Jacksonville. Right now, my friends at Furniture Source are going to give you the ultimate hookup because all month long, they're making their inventory wholesale price. Check out their markdowns up to 50% off. And remember, since it's Furniture Source, you're getting the guaranteed lowest prices in Florida or your money back. Don't have the cash on you right now? It's no worry. Shop endless options to suit your style and budget and enjoy 36 months off with no interest financing. Why use your money when you can use theirs? Whether it's beds, couches, tables, or chairs, Furniture Source is going to have exactly what you're looking for. Shop the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed. Find the location nearest you at FurnitureSourceJax.com.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
First and 10 training camp continues tonight. We've got a couple more weeks. I think this will end next Thursday, right after the joint practices, and then we lead right into the Friday night blitz on Fridays. That starts next Friday. So starting to roll things out here. It's business is picking up. With the Action Sports Jax team and this time of year. By the way, the Florida State Seminoles are in town today, too, so we'll have a little bit of that tonight on First and 10 training camp, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. They are here the next couple of days. They actually practiced at the Flex Field today at Daly's place because they had to move out of UNF because of the weather and all the rain the last couple of days. So they went inside, and hopefully they'll be back on the field tomorrow. I haven't seen yet if they're going to go out there or at UNF or stay downtown in Jacksonville. So getting some good use out of that flex field at Daly's place for the Florida State Seminoles, who now I think have made it to Jacksonville for 2 practices in their August camp 3 years in a row. I think this is for them. And again, they play relatively soon, 2 weeks from Saturday in Ireland against Georgia Tech. Olivia Tasley's there, so we'll have a report from that. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, New England pulls out of the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes. We've got people spotting Ayuk in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think any dude with dreads isn't Brandon Ayuk, but yeah, I like the enthusiasm, though.
I like the enthusiasm. Like New England, this is an interesting one. Did they get out of there before it looked like they got spurned? I mean, this is, again, how do organizations view themselves, right? How do they try to control the narrative, and does perception matter? And I think New England, it's an interesting one. Why wouldn't they want Ayuk for their young quarterback and for their team? They are void of star players anyway.
Correct.
They're in a position where they probably dollars-wise can afford it. And that's the one floating around.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's one.
But New England says, nah, we're good. We spun the tires on it, but no go. We're out.
Yeah, and like New England still seems like they're in that rebuilding phase a little bit, and they have 2 young receivers that they're hopeful on. So, you don't see New England competing for a division this year. And I think the Ayuk move is a move where you make it to try to compete, make a playoff run, and hopefully go to a Super Bowl. So, New England was super interested before the draft. I think they had the highest offer. I think it was that 2nd-round pick. San Fran says, no thanks, we're all set. And I think New England's going to respectfully bow out. So I get it. It's just, I don't think it's the right time for New England to pull the trigger on somebody like that.
There's been a lot of attention on the Jags passing game and what they added. And let's be honest. If you had Ayuk and you got him in that trade, it seemed like the Jags were interested, at least in the game, at feeling that out prior to picking Brian Thomas Jr., you'd have a proven guy and a guy going into his prime, and it would be right there, right? I mean, you'd be like, whoa, okay, feel really good. Now you got Brian Thomas Jr., and this is an unproven guy, and we don't know what to expect. And let's be honest, I don't know if there's concern, but we said it yesterday. There hasn't been like this, oh, wow, watch this. I actually think that could be an okay thing because there's been plenty of, oh, wow, watch this, and come up empty during the season. I think this guy's pretty methodical about the way he goes about business. Yeah. The learning curve is okay. The learning curve is going to have to be a little bit, it's okay to be slower than in some other spots. The Jags have other receivers. They don't need him to do everything, but it certainly hasn't been like, oh, sign me up for Brian Thomas Jr. in 1,000 yards.
I feel like it's been weird throughout the NFL. Now, granted, we live in the Jaguars bubble, so it's not like I'm keen on every single NFL team in training camp, but like I haven't seen a lot of Marvin Harrison Jr. like one-handed catches, Odell Beckham Jr. catches. I've seen Malik Neighbors fight people, and that was cool.
That was cool for him.
Well, I mean, dude, if you watch that fight, man, that dude didn't back down. Like, that's the type of players I want. Yeah. You know, like if I'm Brian Dabble, like, I'm excited for that. Like, yeah, you don't want to fight, you don't want to throw your hands and break your hand in a helmet or anything. But you saw a guy who literally went at the entire defense and did not back down. So shout out to Neighbors for that. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Odunze, what he's been up to. So it's weird. It seems like, we always talk about the showcases of rookie wide receivers in training camp, and like I said, Xavier, Legato or whatever, it might be the biggest dude that's being showcased. It's because of his accent more than anything.
Yeah. It's a good point you just brought up. I was thinking Neighbors has made some noise. Neighbors early in camp was the guy that he was catching passes. By the way, they were fined $200,000 each for that fight, the teams. I guess that's like a big
$200,000?
Yeah. Jeez. The teams were.
Yeah, but
they said if they're a fight, if you get in a fight,
$200,000,
which by the way for these teams, $200,000 seems like nothing. But I'll
take it.
Yeah, good for some charity, right?
Great. Yeah.
But Neighbors was making a little noise early on. But I think your point is dead on. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., I haven't heard his name once. Is that just because nobody talks about Arizona?
It's because no one's selling his jerseys.
Who else was picked? Who was the other one I'm missing? Who's the three receivers?
You got Dunze?
Oh, Dunze, my bad. I haven't seen a lot. I see a little bit on Chicago, but not like anything crazy. Mm-hmm. That's a good call. And I'm not really sure from seeing things like who really is the star of any camp. Like, I don't feel like I'm seeing these, oh, wow things. And to your point, we're living in the Jacksonville bubble. We are not watching every team like that.
Yeah,
but it's kind of been an up and down.
If a dude makes a play, you're going to see it.
You're going to see it everywhere.
Yeah,
and we haven't really seen it.
Correct.
So does that limit how you feel these guys are going to impact?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't take a lot of stock into a couple plays at training camp. Like obviously I take stock in how the preseason goes, and then when week one comes around, you start to get a better idea. But just because someone's not making one-handed grabs or crazy plays in training camp doesn't mean like they're not going to, be beneficial to their team the rookie year.
Yeah. What's your feel on it, Hamby, as welcome you in here on a Wednesday, on a Whataburger Wednesday? You pay attention to all that stuff going on social media. You haven't seen a ton, right? I mean, again, I've seen a play or two from Odunze. Caleb Williams is going to get that attention to everybody right now because there's a lot of eyes on him. Neighbors, there's been some, but just come with us on the context of this. It's not like there's a star of this draft class yet, at least at the receiver position that we're seeing.
Yeah, I think of all of the guys, skill position-wise, it has been Neighbors with the most, if you can call them highlights, just a couple over-the-shoulder catches and would-be touchdowns. Nothing's really a touchdown because there's a lot of times just one-on-ones. But I feel like a lot of the noise as far as national training camp has just solely been on the quarterbacks. Is J.J. McCarthy playing, or is he lost? Is he, because, their depth chart comes out, and I think he's 3 behind Nick Mullins, and Vikings fans are kind of freaking out with that. And obviously Caleb Williams has a lot of draw. A lot of it is still Daniel Jones throwing terrible passes. I've seen that almost more than anything. The story through 3 weeks or 3 days of training camp is Malik Neighbors already trying to get out because of some overthrows I saw. But I think you guys are right. It's like it's such a weird difference from last year with Calvin. That was the only thing that anybody ever wanted really to talk about was Calvin's footwork, and Calvin looks fast, and Calvin makes a nice catch, and what's the connection going to be with Trevor Lawrence? And I think everybody was hoping that Brian Thomas Jr. would just replace, and that it would be the same story. It just hasn't been. That's not because Brian Thomas has looked lost. It's not really for any particular reason, I don't think. But it's just an interesting kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's like there's no wow factor. And quite frankly, I'm not sure there's been a wow factor out at camp other than the defense of the Jags at times. It's been like, wow, that's been looking pretty good, like better than people think. But if you think of the wow factor of camp, I mean, Andre Sisco just had 3 interceptions on Monday. That's pretty wow. That's the best individual performance, bar none, right, of anybody else. I don't care who's played well. Nobody's doing that. Across the league, that would be a hell of a practice at any camp. So not a lot of wow. But I also don't know if I mind it. There's been a lot of wow over the years here in Jacksonville at this time of year or in the offseason. There was a lot of wow this offseason. But I'm okay with just this slow build that equates to business-like, which I do feel like this team is. I keep coming back to that. They look like they're very business-like. Doesn't mean they're not smiling, having fun at times. The music's good, all that. You can dance around a little bit. But they do appear to be very business-like, very locked in, very focused. What I would call that is chip on the shoulder too, hungry, all those things. This seems like it has it, but yet to have some wow factor, and it even started with Trevor, man, because Trevor got off to a pretty slow start that we had to go like find a day last week that was like, oh, there's our guy. Yeah, we just gave $55 million a year to. It's kind of a weird spot. Like, and I don't know what that is. I mean, I don't know. I'll give you an idea of why that might be the case.
Because people can't cover, like, to turn up their cell phones? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And people have really locked that down in camps. See, the Jags used to kind of frustrate us a little bit in the media. This isn't a Jags problem. It's probably more of an NFL thing. But, like, you'd be at camp and you could only shoot practices, periods 1 to 4. Well, the team sessions are periods like 5, 6, 7, let's just say. And well, when you'd go to a camp practice a couple years ago and the fans would be there, the media would have to shut it down. And the fans are sitting there in like the 14th row of the bleachers like, wow, look at Calvin. Like, look at this. It's like, what the hell? Like, we're showing highlights on First and 10 training camp from Jags fan 3642 on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one that has the stuff.
Yep.
The guy's got like 1 million views on this great catch.
Yep.
Well, the Jags they've stopped that. If you go to a Jags practice, there are no phones in that session. In those bleachers, they make those announcements. They have people watching. They really, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm not even saying, I'm just saying, I think you're right. We're on the same page there.
Yeah,
that's really the big difference. You're not seeing as many videos. It's very team orchestrated. The Jags get to shoot all that stuff. They're .com. So if they want to push stuff out, that's where you see the highlights.
No, I mean that's the whole vibe of training camp from every single team is, say a player is getting ragged on a little bit for some reason. Well, then that media team's going to put out a play the next day of that player making a great play. Because then, it changes the narrative. Like,
and they control the narrative.
Yeah, you essentially control the narrative. You want to showcase who you want to showcase. You want to elevate who you want to elevate. And, yeah, when you take the phones away from the fans and everything, you have a chance to control the narrative, and that's exactly what's happening now in the NFL.
Yeah. Let's take a time out here on the Brent and Austen Show. We'll come back. I want to get into some Gabe Davis. You got something,
Can I throw one thing out real quick? Could it possibly be any of a factor that around Jacksonville it's been few and far between where we've had the same head coach and offensive coordinator for the 3rd year?
Good call. You're used to seeing what you know. Like, you know a lot.
Right?
You know a lot. Doug, Press, Trevor, this entire offense. Outside of Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, who we'll talk about in a minute, I mean, you're not really watching Mitch Morse, quite frankly, right? So, I mean, offensively.
No, for sure. But, like, I just saw, like, there's a play that's all around with Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa. And, we've seen that how many times in games, but, like, we're still in awe when Tyreek Hill runs 80 yards as fast as he can and just burns somebody, and then Tua puts it on a dime. Like, we're still infatuated with that.
Yeah, there was a big play. And also, there's been a couple worthy plays like out of Kansas City that have done something. Those are the only plays I can think of that have gone like catching my eye or everybody seeing it. But I don't think that's a bad call. I think we're kind of used to it. We've settled in, and that's maybe a good thing too. Like just the continuity of here's what we know this. We don't have to get overly excited about Trevor Lawrence. We know Trevor can make that throw.
Yeah.
You know?
But don't you want to think that we want to see a couple more plays from Trevor?
I don't disagree with that.
To put us to rest,
Yeah, I think the splash nature of it, but going back just a couple minutes ago, I don't think you're going to see it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait until you hope you see it Saturday night.
Correct.
Because then we're going to replay that one for the next 6 days because that's all we've got out of those first 2 series. So, and that's maybe puts a little more emphasis on these preseason games, especially for these starters, to get to see what I think the fans want to see. And hopefully it doesn't work in a negative way because now you're going to cling on to something that you don't like to see until the next time around. It's kind of fascinating perspective at how the rule changes almost or the control of things have skewed, in a sense, how we view what's going on in training camp with specific players. Take a time out. Brent and Austen show on a Whataburger Wednesday. Come back, talk some Gabe Davis. I think he's a big part of this, and I'm not sure I've talked about it or thought about it enough until now. We'll hear from Gabe Davis and how big is he to this operation coming up in 2024.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Right now, get 10% off any residential job of $500 or more. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 143-2579.
At Southampton, local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to String Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to String Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
There's a better Jacksonville skyline. Little less rain, little less gray. Starting to open up a little bit, get that sunshine back up in here. Beautiful. No wires in the way. No smudged up lens. How do you clean the lens off?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You hope the rain does it?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like if you get smudged up, I feel like it stays. Like,
that's a good
is there like a built-in wiper on the lens? Hamby?
I don't think there's that.
Got no idea.
I'll have to ask Sesnick. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I think like if something really, let's say like a bird pooped on the lens, you got to go clean it.
Really? Man.
Can a bird get up that high? Oh, how high do
Sure.
birds fly?
Good question. No idea. I mean, like, you always see birds, like, hit windows of, like,
Yeah,
skyscrapers, so I assume they can get up that high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birds get in plane engines and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Game over, man.
That's not good.
Beautiful day, though.
Yeah, good day. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Brent and Austin Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Did Steve Boston say, and I know your eyes were perked up, we were kind of talking about something else. Are you Cleveland interested? Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
did you
Cooper in
see
the
that
first.
somewhere else?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Is that what they're saying for him?
They
can get that kind of value at this stage?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what the rumors are, because I don't think Cleveland, the fan base wants to keep Cooper and Ayuk, and obviously anybody would want to do that because, wow, what a combination.
Yeah.
But the thought is that if you want to get Ayuk, you're going to have to let Cooper go. And what it comes down to, like, I still say Cooper's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the entire NFL. And would I give up Amari Cooper and a first-round pick for Ayuk? Absolutely not. But the other side is going to say, well, Ayuk is just as talented, and he's a little younger as well.
Yeah. You get more years on him.
But I would
be more expensive.
Personally,
too.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's I could see if I'm in Cleveland, I want both. The one or the other doesn't do as much for me, but you kind of reset the clock a little bit on a guy like Brandon Ayuk.
You know, my eyes or whatever on Javon Baker, Steve Boston's comment, because as Austin knows, Javon Baker is going to be Terry McLaurin.
All good on Javon Baker.
I set you up. I was waiting to. That's why I said, like, New England has some young wide receivers.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for you to jump on top
Actually,
of that. You did.
it's because of all of the UCF people, that I'm still connected to and follow down in Orlando, but they are sharing a ton. But he's actually had a very good camp. Now, I'm not going to put Austin's going to say it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it does matter, but he has had a lot of pretty nice plays so far.
Listen, I'm never going to be more emotionally invested in where was he taken again? What round?
I believe it was
fifth round, I think.
I'm never going to be more invested emotionally in a fifth-round pick than I am of Javon Baker. Just every week I come in here, Hamby, I'm going to have the stat line ready for you. I'm going to have the highlights. I'm going to have the lowlights, and we're going to really get to the bottom of if this guy's going to be the real deal or not.
You going to do that for every Georgia player?
No, just Javon
much
Baker.
Investment.
Yeah.
Just scary Terry McLaurin Jr.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, guys, what does Gabe Davis have to do in this offense to kind of fulfill what they see him as? I think people sleep on the fact that I think they like Davis. I mean, Davis, there's a lot to like about, but I think they sleep on the fact that this was a $13 million a year investment. I understand that's like nothing now when you're talking about $30 million receivers. So there's definitely tiers to this. But the last time the Jags invested in a receiver with the hopes of getting more out of them at this stage of their career was Christian Kirk, and it looks like that worked. Like, they had good eyes for that. $17 million really looked like a bargain for what Kirk has delivered to this franchise. Was that where we're going to go down with Gabe Davis? That kind of road? Is $13 million a year is going to be kind of a bargain? And what does he need to do to make you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Gabe Davis, he's brought here for his big playability. He's brought here for that home run ball. So what does Gabe Davis need to do? He's got to take the top off. Simple as that. Obviously, with Christian Kirk, it was a little different because you really needed him to be the one receiver because nobody else was really stepping up. With Gabe Davis, I think he has a little more of a luxury of, listen, we're not going to expect 10 targets for you a game. We're not going to expect 8 receptions a game for Gabe Davis. But what we are going to expect is every once in a while, when we need a big play, you got to deliver that. Yeah,
and I think that's kind of the book. The book is clear on him. He's a big play guy in big spots. He's going to pull that pass down when you need it on third down or touchdown. And he's also going to be a game out there where he dominates. Where he just has like this outlier of a game, which I've said in the past, like a lot of people, I would say from a coaching standpoint, I'm not sure you like that in a player. Is like, okay, when's the big game coming? I'd rather have consistency and know what I'm going to get each and every week. And I don't know if that's on Gabe Davis. I don't know if that was on the Buffalo Bills offense. I'm not sure. But I think, okay, if Kirk's going to get he can get 700 every game. And you got to line them up that way. I'm not sure that's the way with Gabe Davis, but what I've said about the positive side of that is if you really think there's going to be one game that he's going to catch 3 touchdown passes and he's going to go off for 160 yards, that can win you that football game. Like, there's not a lot of players that play outside of the quarterback position or maybe even the pass rush position where you can dominate the game to a level where you say, hey, we're going to win this game because of this guy.
Yeah.
And I think that he has that capability. Like, in my estimation, he's worth a win.
No, I mean, if you're asking what I want to see, like, I'm not even going to give you fantasy numbers. I'm not going to give you stats. I'm not going to give you touchdowns, receptions. I'm going to say this is what I want to see out of Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis was brought here for a reason. I think Gabe Davis, reminds Doug Peterson a lot of when he had Deshaun Jackson. And Doug Peterson probably got the best out of Deshaun Jackson. If I'm not mistaken, I think the year after they won the Super Bowl, I think Deshaun Jackson came to Philly and then he got a Pro Bowl. He had a huge year. That, I think, is what Doug Peterson going to try to do with Gabe Davis.
Yeah, he came back. No, that's not the year you're talking about. Sorry.
I'm talking like it would have been like what Super Bowls in
17.
17.
So he played Philly 22 to 27.
Okay, so he was gone then because he was back in 19.
He actually went to Tampa and had, I think, the year you're talking about.
Okay, I got you. Never mind then.
Where it was like 41 catches for 7. He averaged 18.9 a catch to lead the league.
Okay, there you go then.
But that's like, I get what you're saying there. He led the league in yards per reception 4 different times in his career.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the point. Like, what that. Now, from a reception standpoint, Austin, he was 62, 47, 58, 45, 82, 56, 30, 56, 50, 41. Outside of that 82, he never had more than 62 catches in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can live there and live pretty good there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think people look at Gabe Davis' numbers like 48 catches, like, whatever. Yeah. But no, that 48 catches can be massive.
He's going to be a target monster once again. I mean, I think the yardage could speak for itself.
So, just to go over, and I know just to remind people of Gabe Davis, first of all, he's 25 years old. He's a young guy. Feels like he's been around a while. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, he looks, with the full beard, he looks like he's 32. He's a young guy. Mm-hmm. I think we forget that still about Christian Kirk. He's a 27-year-old player.
Yeah.
Like, these are guys that have a lot of football left. Got a lot of juice in them.
Do you have the Deshaun Jackson numbers in front of you?
I do, yeah.
So, like, when Reed was using him then, what was, like, his best seasons? Like, I know we went to some Pro Bowls.
Yeah, he went to a Pro Bowl. His best season would have been, you're probably looking at twofold, but maybe the one you're thinking about, 2013. Reed was then gone. So I'll give you he had really 3 pop years in Philly.
Okay.
His second year in 2009, 62 for 1156, 9 touchdowns. He made a Pro Bowl.
That's good.
The next year was 47 for 1,056, but he averaged 22 and a half a catch.
That's insane.
Yeah, 6 touchdowns. And that too was a Pro Bowl, by the way. He was 5th in Offensive Player of the Year voting that year. That's how dynamic he was. And then in 13, he was 82 catches. That was the most catches in his career. 1332, most yards in his career. But his yards per catch obviously goes down a little bit to 16.2, but he had 9 touchdowns and makes the Pro Bowl. So he had 3 Pro Bowl years. Those were it. Most with Reed, but in 2013, Reed had moved on to Kansas City.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the answer to my question, or to the question. If you want to know what I want out of Gabe Davis, it could be low receptions, but a big payoff with yardage.
Yeah,
throw some touchdowns in there as well.
Is it hard to be that guy? Like, that's what I was kind of thinking, Hamby. I'm like, I always say this is hard to be Bill Murray because he's always got to be funny. You know, I think it's a hard thing to do. Like, if you're labeled as the funny guy, then you always feel like you got to be funny.
Well, what am I, a clown to you? Yeah.
Hey, very good. Does that make you laugh?
Hamby, anything? Probably
no
not.
way. There's no way he's going to pick that up. You're lucky I picked it up.
I know who he is. I'm familiar, but I couldn't recite
no,
any
no,
lines.
not. That wasn't a Bill Murray quote. Never mind.
No, it's not. I didn't know he'd have to go down the I don't know who he is road.
Oh, yikes.
I mean, jeez.
You don't know who Bill Murray is, Hamby? It's okay if you don't.
No, I seriously do. I know exactly what he looks like.
Okay.
He's a big Chicago Cubs fan.
Yes, very
This
good.
okay? All right.
He wears top hats a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caddyshack.
But I was quoting Goodfellas with the clown comment.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Anyway, so I use that example to say we have labeled, or he has been labeled, much like Deshaun Jackson, as a yards per catch guy, a big play guy. So is that hard? Is that a hard thing to be like, this is how I have to deliver? And I guess, can he deliver in other ways for the Jacksonville Jaguars, or is that all we care about?
I mean, honestly, that's all I care about.
It is. It sounds like it.
Yeah, because I think you have other guys that can be possession receivers. I think you have other guys who, can run the route tree and everything. And I think Gabe Davis has to be that guy that can take the top off. And to answer the question of, is that a hard role to fill? I mean, I think there's a couple. I mean, obviously Tyreek Hill is one of one. The dude's a unicorn. Deshaun Jackson, I think, was a good example. I don't think it's necessarily the hardest thing because we're not asking 10 great plays from you a game.
Yeah.
All we're asking is maybe 1 or 2 a game. Just one deep shot a game where you catch it. Great, man. Like the Deshaun Jackson, like in totality, like you take him versus Cooper Kupp. It's night and day.
Yeah.
Because like Cooper Kupp, all right, yeah, we go a 15-yard out route. Cool, all right.
He's a volume guy.
Now we're doing a 15-yard corner. Okay, cool. Cooper Kupp's a good route runner. Then you have Deshaun Jackson, top off. All right, go and punt it to him. Up, Dallas Cowboys didn't block. Touchdown there too. Like it's a different look, but I don't think it's a harder look to try to purvey if you have that speed. And I think Gabe Davis, like, I'm not sure what the 40-yard dash was in the combine and everything, but his signature in Buffalo was being that guy when they weren't going to Stephon Diggs. You need a big play.
The back pedal touchdown.
Go ahead and go to Gabe Davis.
All right, but guys, here's where this is, I guess, where I'm processing it in my mind, and I get all that, and that's cool, and maybe it is easier to deliver on something like that than even I think. Hey, go play a little backyard football. Trevor likes to push the ball down the field, by the way, Hamby, but you got a guy in Brian Thomas Jr. that's not there yet. Like we don't know what there is. We don't even know where the starting point is. But, I mean, the bottom line is he's a young player. I don't know how you can count on him being there. Christian Kirk is, Evan Ingram is, ETN's there. So does that make Gabe Davis have to do more, especially early on? Do you need him to be the guy going over the middle? Do you need him to catch the 3rd and 8 and don't worry about the 18-yard play? You know what I mean? More volume potentially, more targets in that way, at least early in the season, until you figure out what Brian Thomas Jr. is, how impactful he can be, and also get him comfortable.
No, because I think you still have Christian Kirk. I think
he can do all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Buffalo you had Stephon Diggs, who was the guy that could do everything. I think Christian Kirk can do a lot of things, and who was even? Well, you had Cole Beasley for a while. I don't even know who the slot guy was. I can't remember the dude's name now. Thank you very much. Yeah. I always forget the guy's
And Beasley
name.
was there for a bit. You're right.
But yeah, it wasn't like. I mean, I would take the Jaguars receivers right now, probably over what Buffalo. I mean, Diggs is obviously the one. Like he's the best wide receiver out of that group, but. Like in a collection, including Evan Ingram, I'd probably take the Jaguars. So like You can make an argument and say Gabe Davis had to be used and depended on a lot more in Buffalo than he did in Jacksonville, and still what did it look like?
I think it's one of those where there's a difference between what Jags fans are going to see as worth the contract and what we envision when we signed him. Because I think it is what Austin's saying is the big plays that's what we need to make it worth it. But when we signed him, instead of Calvin Ridley, the thought is we need the big plays, but we need to see him become more of a well-rounded receiver. That includes the plays over the middle, being a little bit more of the possession receiver. That's not catching 80 balls, but it's catching more than 45. Because Gabe Davis, he catches about 50% of his targets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in order to be what we want him to be, it's got to be a higher clip than that. But I think this goes all the way back to a lot of our conversations come draft time when we were saying, oh, do we take Brian Thomas Jr. in the first round? Because we do have a lot of weapons. And I remember Austin and I going back and forth of how good our weapons room is. That's why the biggest question for me going into this season is what the target share looks like in the passing game. I truly have no idea what it's going to be the first month of the year because of we don't know about Brian Thomas Jr., but we have so many guys. Parker Washington, and I know it's small sample size in training camp, I don't know how much, but he's going to be a bigger part of this offense. I don't think there's any doubt about it because, I mean, based off of what he's done at the last couple of weeks of the regular season last year, training camp, he's running out there with the ones. I mean, again, you don't want to put too much, but it looks like he's going to get his fair share.
Yeah, they're raving about Parker Washington. I just don't know. I mean, he plays kind of Kirk's position, so if you're going to move him around a little bit, you're going to give rest to Kirk. Like, I don't know how that plays out. He's basically playing that spot. I want to get some sound from Gabe Davis, and you can take us there, Han, because you got it in front of us, and just take us in a direction. But before I do that real quick, I think there's two interesting things when you look at the numbers of Gabe Davis in his 4-year career. One is first downs. This is why people call him like the big. He's a touchdown guy, right? 7, 6, 7, 7. So he's averaging 7 a year. Mm-hmm. And he gets 7 touchdowns out of Gabe Davis. And he's only catching 35, 35, 48, 45. I mean, so your catch rate, it's a 1 to 5, 1 every 5 catches or 1 every 6 catches is a touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, bigger than that is the first downs, Austin. He's got 163 career catches. 125 have gone for first downs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't look at that stat very much, but that seems like a pretty insane stat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is why he's labeled this way. That's what he can deliver on. So let me ask you guys this one more from a numbers standpoint. His career best is 17.1. I'm sorry, 17.4. So he's been 17.1 yards per catch, 15.7, 17.4, 16.6.
Okay.
That's a small window between 15.7 and 17.4. Is he career high this year? Better chance at career high this year at yards per catch? Or career low?
Better chance of career high.
So above 17.4, which would be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think he has a better chance of being the guy that takes the top off as opposed to being the possession receiver. So if the question is, does he have a better chance of going low or high? I'm taking high all day.
What do you think, Hamby? A big number, 17.4. I mean, 17.5 plus.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say low.
What is the low number?
15.7. I'm tempted to say low because I could see a scenario where halfway through the year, the back half, Brian Thomas Jr. it is accompanying him in the deep threat
because he's the same guy, right? You want him going deep. You don't have this big repertoire for him early in his career.
And I do think there is a chance, and again, this is one of those big question marks where Christian Kirk becomes even more of the intermediate route, and the 5 to 10 range and the angles and the option routes, and Gabe Davis becomes more of your deep crosser and your or over the middle guy. Slant, anything like that, and Brian Thomas Jr. is left to stretch it. I think they're going to have to get Brian Thomas Jr. on the field, and you can't have both guys running flies every single play. So I will take the under and that kind of goes back to the Zay Jones replacement thing that we were talking about last week a little bit.
Let me give you a little perspective on it. George Pickens, 18.1 yards per catch, led the NFL last year. Ayuk at 17.9 was second. 17.4 for Amari Cooper. Interesting, those two names are right there. Noah Brown, 17.2. Now, he got hurt. He only played in 10 games, caught it 33 times, but he was off to a very nice start. DK Metcalf at 16.9. Gabe Davis was sixth in the league at 16.6 last year. So his number at 16.6 was good enough. That 17.4 and above is a tall ask. Only two other players in the National Football League did that last year. What I think is interesting is Nico Collins is at 16.2, which Houston proved you can have two guys basically up above 16, which means maybe you can have Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis.
Yeah,
even north of 15 would be a pretty heavy mark.
There's nothing wrong with having two deep threats.
No.
Yeah.
No. So it's just curious. It's the same thing with yesterday. On face value, you're like, hey, man, go get 16, 17 yards a catch. It's not easy to do. It's not an easy thing to do. I know that's kind of what he's done, but it's not necessarily easy to do. Same with the touchdowns for Trevor. 22 and a half, I was like, holy cow, man. Go get me a bookie.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's what and then you do the numbers and you're like, wait a minute.
No.
Only like 5 guys went above 25 last year. That's it?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely taking the over, in terms of yards per reception. But I'll tell you right now, Press Taylor, if I see a lot of bubble screens going to Gabe Davis, and be pissed.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah. But they've been talking about working on the slant. He could be a slant guy, yards after the catch guy, right?
Absolutely.
That's okay. Not everything's got to be a 35 yards in the air over the shoulder catch.
Yeah.
Right?
But those look nice, though.
They do
I'll
look
take some
nice.
of those.
Well, he has a 98-yarder in his career.
Sure.
I mean, that is really what the Jags. Think about the last time you saw a touchdown
From 99 yards? Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry against the Jacksonville
I'm talking
Jaguars.
about the Jags offense.
Okay.
The
well,
longest touchdown that you can remember.
Well, there were some players in the air, Hamby, when he stiff armed him, okay? I mean, dude.
It just gets worse and worse.
And that was my
players-
Wisconsin dude, too. What was his name? The linebacker from Wisconsin?
Geez.
I can't.
I know, Jacobs.
Leon Jacobs, right?
Leon
Jacobs? Leon Jacobs, that sound right?
I think you're right. I think we pieced it together.
Okay.
Big dude, too. Seriously,
Yeah,
he's a
man.
big
I
dude.
remember talking about, the dude's ripped and everything, and then
Was it?
Superman. Watch me, you. Yeah. It's my dude.
Okay. Think about the last.
Leon
What's the
Jacobs,
longest?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What's the longest touchdown you can remember? On offense.
In
No,
the
on
air.
offense.
Whoa, man.
On offense.
I got PTSD, all right?
I guess
you say
so.
long touchdowns. What do you want me to
Garrard
do?
walk off to Mike.
That was like 59
Yeah,
yards.
that wasn't
man.
that. That was like
That's the
50-something
longest
yards.
one I remember.
Yeah.
But
I had
outside of a
horrible
Jamal
game, I
Agnew
remember that.
punt return
Against the Cardinals.
or a kick return,
Yeah.
I'm talking about a play from scrimmage. What's the longest touchdown play? Now, there might have been a 60-something yarder and the guy get tackled. Like even last year, ETN might have had something like that. ETN had a 50-yarder. No, it wasn't ETN. It was James Robinson on a 4th and 1 from midfield against the Chargers.
He scored? Or
He scored.
Did he get caught from behind?
I don't think in that Chargers game he did. I think when they blew him out earlier that year in 22,
Wow.
he ran on, I think it was a 4th and 1 from midfield.
Interesting. Now, was the coaching staff watching that play? Because all we heard was the guy can't score a touchdown because he always gets caught from behind. Nothing's coming to mind, Brent. I'm not going to lie. I can't think of like a 90-yard touchdown from
I think you got to go back to, I feel like, and this is probably wrong, but I feel like you got to go back to like Maurice Jones-Drew.
I mean, I know Maurice Jones-Drew had a long one against Tennessee.
Tennessee had a couple of them. He had a game where he carried it like 8 times for
Maybe that's
200
kind of
yards.
a curse. Maybe that's what happened. Like, Mo kind of got the best of the Titans for a while, and then all of a sudden, then it was a Derrick Henry effect. But they had Chris Johnson, too, though. Like, Chris Johnson had a couple of long runs against
That game, they both ran for like 200.
Yeah.
It was an incredible game.
Are we counting Agnew's against the Ravens?
Was it a catch or
65-yard touchdown catch?
I made that play. I can't blanket on it.
65 yards.
The Agnew?
I'll have to look that one up.
Third quarter, 10-0 Ravens.
Slant?
We were
Was
at
that
home.
last year? That was in the Sunday nighter?
We were 8-5. Yep, Sunday Night Football. Yeah, he was wide open down the left, made one guy miss, and scored 65 yards.
Gosh, I don't have that in my mind.
Well, it wasn't what I have in my mind with that game? It was a lot of the defense stopping the run or not being able to.
Yeah. Well, and Trevor's fumble at 23.
I have the play right here from the Jaguars media. Sorry, there's gonna be a 15-second ad, Brent. Make sure make sure that you get your Invisalign. Guys got some messed up teeth. Look at Rashawn Gary here.
Listen, I just went to the dentist yesterday. I know all about it.
Look at Trayvon Walker Jr. here with Invisalign. Shout out to Rashawn Gary, the Green Bay Packers Invisalign commercial. Here we go, Brent. So I should probably just give this to Hamby so he can play it. But this is actually it's a deep shot. Deep shot.
Play it anyway.
Goal route.
It was
goal route.
down the sideline.
And then made a guy. Yep.
Were they going right or left at Everbank? Why can't I remember this?
Were they going right or left? I don't know, man. It's on the
your
left
TV,
part.
Is it right or left?
we talking about
I don't
Agnew?
know, Brent.
Yeah.
I'm not good when it comes to those things.
He was going to left.
Play action.
I'm not good with those things.
Agnew was run almost like a wheel towards the Jags sideline.
Yeah.
So Ridley went inside. Agnew went on the outside. Good call, Hamby. It was more like a wheel. It wasn't a goal route.
So there was one. That's 65 though.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, and
Calvin
65 is good. I'm not telling you 65 is bad. But there are teams, and 98's absurd. But there are a lot of teams that go 73. Or you take a play from the 25-yard line, you go 75. This is a team that has not done that for in my existence here in Jacksonville.
Someone was saying, is that the game that Agnew got hurt then?
Probably.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why we don't remember it.
Hey, let's go. Let's see. What do we want to do here?
Maybe
Let's hear from Gabe Davis. What do you got for us?
Yeah, we got first one I'll play is him on smeshing with the wide receiver room and gelling with Trevor Lawrence.
The receivers are great, man. It's awesome to be in this room. Love all the guys in there. And then with Trevor, we're continue to keep trying to build that chemistry each and every day. I feel like we got our slants down packed. He kind of hits me where I want him every single time, and our slim routes are real successful. So, but other than that, we just keep going and keep trying to get on the same page.
Yeah, I don't know how long that takes. We hear that all the time. I mean, you throw in the offseason, you try to get to work. These are two veteran guys. You figure that out. It never the reason why I give that a little more credence now in terms of getting on the same page is it didn't look like Calvin and Trevor got completely on the same page when the lights were on. They did on the practice field. Looks pretty sharp on the practice field, but it didn't on the game field for whatever that is. And so that's the nature of, okay, we'll wait and see how soon it takes Gabe Davis. Now, you ask the other guys like Ingram and Kirk and even Zay Jones, when they came aboard too, happened pretty quick.
Yep.
Like those guys, and it developed. Like you could almost see it develop. First 6, 7, 8 games were one thing. The next 6, 7, 8 games were another thing. And that's continued to blossom. Look what Ingram's done. Look what Kirk's done. And who knows what Zay would have done if he had stayed healthy. So I appreciate the idea that it takes time. I just don't know how long. That window is quick. The Calvin window looks pretty long. So we'll see what the Gabe Davis one is, and also the Brian Thomas Jr. one. Because really, there's two guys you have to add to this offense. Mitch Morse is going to be fine, I would think. I don't feel like that's a problem for him as a guy who's played in the league for 10 years.
Sure.
Making that adjustment. But I think the timing and the landmarks and the I want you here and all the things that Trevor knows about this offense, relaying that to those two players, I think that's the biggest adjustment the offense has to make. So we'll see if it does. What else you got from Gabe?
We got Gabe. It's more so on Brian Thomas Jr.'s personality, but kind of adapting him to the locker room and stuff like that.
Yeah, BT's real quiet. So I mean, I feel like I have a good sense of humor, and I feel like I can kind of break through people's shells, like you guys said with BT. But BT's a funny guy. He's a good guy. Loves to hang out and talk. So you just got to get it out of him. And once he got comfortable with us, it's like nothing now. So
how quiet is this dude?
He's very quiet.
Well, he's talking to the media today, so we can maybe cut it.
He's not a bad interview. I've interviewed him. We just heard him on the show this week. Liv did an interview. He's not a bad interview.
I swear we've gone from asking who's calling the plays to now Brian Thomas Jr. could be the quietest dude of all time.
It is unbelievable how much
he's like Edward Scissorhands, doesn't talk, just does his thing.
And it's unfortunate. It kind of comes across as a negative thing. I don't think it's a negative thing. I think he's obviously an introvert, right, of some kind, to some degree.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it. I actually think that's a good thing in a sense where it means you're locked into football. Yeah. Like it's football. It's football.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a sense of this with a guy. Now, he's blossomed probably more. He's developed more as a player. He's got more comfortable. He has to be a leader, so this maybe isn't. I would love to know what Foye Oluokun was like 5 years ago, is what I'm getting at. He's an all-football guy. He's an all-business guy. He's serious. He doesn't seem to joke around a lot. Now, get a little ping pong going in the locker room.
He's also got to talk to set up the defense.
Yeah. So, but he's locked in. I don't see it. My point is, I don't view what everybody's saying about Brian Thomas Jr. as a negative thing. Yeah, Puzz was this, wasn't he? I mean,
no, yeah,
he wasn't
sure.
Running up and down the locker room and.
No, but you're definitely afraid of him without a doubt. No, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's funny how we're hearing about this from literally everybody now. I really can't wait for the first Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown where it's just going to be like, it's going to be an 80-yard bomb from Trevor. It's going to be like,
hand the ball. He feels like he's that guy.
This is 80-yard touchdown, Brian Thomas Jr. first one.
I do think it's interesting that Gabe Davis is the one who's like, I mean, obviously I'm sure all the receivers are kind of trying to get it out of him or welcome him or whatever the case may be. But I think Gabe Davis is a lot more of a leader than maybe we had initially anticipated, kind of just because we thought he was a role player. That's kind of the sense that he gave off in Buffalo.
But he was also a captain in Buffalo, too. Yeah. So you kind of knew something was up.
And we had Catalan on the show, I think, back in the Players' Championship. He mentioned Gabe Davis, and he raved about how they felt about him inside the room, inside the locker room. Jags have a lot of those guys. Again, the personalities are different in that room. They're not your typical wide receiver, alpha, personality guys. They don't come across as me guys, which receivers usually do.
And I mean, a real small thing, but I remember at training camp last Friday, Trevor throws a bomb to Seth Williams. He drops it in the end zone, and period changes. Everybody's going to the next station. Gabe Davis, only guy who goes all the way down there, picks him up and kind of talks to him all the way back. I know that little things like that I feel like could go a long way, and those are the kind of bites that you don't necessarily get in press conferences, but I think that's a lot of that leadership that, I mean, great thing for the locker room. Yeah,
could be a good thing for it. Let's take a time out. Brent and Austen show. Jason Hamby in the booth today. Good to have him in. And we're on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. It is a Whataburger Wednesday, but you can also check out, if you want some pizza, some Donatos, Donatos.com. I think we're going to have some Whataburger in here tomorrow, too, by the way. So plenty of food options here on the show. Brent 20, the code, in Jax Beach and Mandarin on at Donatos Pizza, Donatos.com.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jax team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
People helping people is at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From 1954 to 2024, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. That commitment includes a partnership with the Action Sports Jax 24/7 team as the presenting sponsor of all Armada men's and women's broadcasts this summer. Action Sports Jax and Alive Credit Union, a partnership that just makes sense when it comes to covering Northeast Florida. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of our first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices or pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
There's a look at the Wednesday lineup. We've got Cup Date coming up with Stuart Weber. A week with Action Sports Jax. I think this week was with Stuart Weber, not Olivia Tassley. She had some hurricane coverage on Monday, so Stuart jumped in. And then 2 o'clock, Stripe Show podcast with Travis Fulton. That is coming up 2 to 3. And then, of course, we've got the Young and Norvell show. We just debuted another edition of After the Game yesterday. That one was with Jamie Rogers, Bradford High School coach. So a lot of new stuff happening and more to come as we ramp up our high school football coverage coming up in the fall as well. More details on that if you haven't caught yet. But it's going to be a fun fall when it comes to the network.
Yeah, it's not like we're doing the Scrap House tonight, too, at 7
We
to
were going to
8.
get to that. That was coming up next.
I was waiting.
That has not part of that graphic. That has its own graphic.
Okay.
Should we share it with Austin?
Share the graphic
like
with me?
yeah, we have like that's like the whole open.
Oh, I got
It's like
you.
a different button.
Well, no, I mean, it's the lineup. I'm just putting us in the lineup, man. I'm making sure
We
we're getting
probably should add it to the lineup.
It's all
But
good.
I mean, I didn't have Young and Norvell texting me right after that graphic either and say that they weren't on that lineup either.
Oh, well, hey.
So not everything was on the lineup.
I'm fighting for my... Yeah, but you still mentioned him, didn't you? Did you mention Young and Norvell? Now, should we go back to the tape? Should we play the instant replay? Did he mention the Scrap House at all through that segment?
I didn't.
No, we did not.
I'm still kind of getting used to that.
Yeah, well, it's all good.
I did pump up the Scrap House yesterday. Asked you what was coming up on it.
Yeah.
What do we got for a teaser?
Yeah. You know what? Just go ahead and tune in at 7 o'clock and find out tonight. There's going to be no teasers during this show anymore. Okay? We have to earn that.
Have you had the experience yet of Ronan's disappointment in you?
Not really, man. I'm a great dad. Trying to read what Steve Boston's saying.
Why can't your name be the code to put in? Or the pizza? Or the mouse?
Yeah, man. That's out of my pay grade.
Would you rather spell Austin?
AUSTEN's a little rough.
Because you'd get it wrong half the time.
Yeah, a lot of people would get it wrong. Lane would probably be the go-to.
Lane would be the way to go.
Lane would be the good one.
We can make
Has
that a
Ronan
thing.
ever been disappointed in me?
Just,
Yeah,
feel that level of disappointment, like
where I've been disappointed in him or he's been disappointed in me?
you've been disappointed
in me.
in you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I, always, Halloween candy, he was bummed. I mean, whenever I beat his, in Smash Brothers, he gets, upset. Well, I didn't see he get upset, but, I let him know about it.
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh, there we go.
It took a while.
Check that out.
We had well moved on, Hamby.
Yeah.
Okay, you still got to get it to him.
Yep. 7 p.m.
It's a little too zoomed in as well.
Whoa, 7 p.m. Brick wall. Tough. Blue collar.
Funeral music.
Scrap it out. Come on, man. No, he's never really been disappointed where I let him down. So there you go. I've never let my son down yet. I'm sure it'll happen one day when he starts to be too cool for me. But
sometimes I'm just going to tell you, sometimes you feel it. So in that last segment, Ty texted, and he's like, wide open down the left, cut back in to make the guy miss. Come on. He's talking about Agnew. I was like, I can sense the disappointment.
Yeah, I got
My
you.
reply was, dude, I'm getting old.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
And to be fair, I try to block that part of my season out from just my memory.
It's going to go there, too.
Yeah.
It's not like you were right. Everybody was rolling off the
Men in
tongue. We had to go
Black
back and look it up.
Yeah, neuralizer, please.
He also said, first one that came to mind was 2017. Keelan Cole against the Seahawks, 75 yards. I do remember that one. Yeah, Cole had some big catches for the
Cole
Jags,
was a thing for a while, wasn't he?
He was.
I forgot about him.
He had actually stayed in the league for quite some time.
Yeah, it was with the
Raiders.
Jets too, right?
Yeah. I don't think he's in the league anymore, but I remember that one, 75. If you have to go back do we really have to go back that far? There's got to be something in between. There's got to be something in between Jamal Agnew's 65.
Did Kelvin have one?
I don't feel like he had a
Calvin?
Yeah.
He had 59-yarder.
Okay, that's not
was the
long
long
enough
one?
for me.
Okay. That was the longest.
In this context, seriously, that's not long enough. 65, I'll give you, but we're looking for something in between that 65. It's that's really the story is can you get that big play?
Yeah.
I mean, how many does Tyreek Hill have in a year?
And
I know
dude's
he's
averaging
different,
10 a year at least, probably more.
It feels like it. Yeah, he had 59-yarder last year, one of his 8 touchdowns.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll give you. Let me just for fun, and I doubt Allen Robinson had a super long one. He just wasn't that guy.
Jump ball guy.
But back in Jacksonville, he had he didn't have 61. Where's the long? He had a 90-yarder.
Allen Robinson did?
He had a 90-yarder in 2015.
Hearns or Robinson? Robinson had
Robinson.
That. Huh.
He had 14 touchdowns that year. What the hell of a year for Allen Robinson that was.
Man.
He had a 90-yarder.
You got to get hurt. Man, it's a bummer.
That's got to be one of the longest plays in Jags history.
And we were down 18 points at the time. It was on first
you
and
going
20.
with garbage Blake here? Is that what you're doing? Garbage time Blake?
Paying the fantasy dividends.
So anyway, listen, I think it's pretty interesting to see what the Jags have done. To say, we're going to go get 2 big play guys. There's a lot of conversation of Ingram stretching the field more, even though I think that you can criticize all you want on Ingram. I think his stuff is important. I mean, I know it's 4.7 yards per catch, whatever it is, in the air.
The anti-Gabe Davis. Yeah.
It is, but I also think it's very important, especially if you can't run the ball well or whatever. New England made a living with that kind of offense and getting down the field and moving the chains and all that stuff. And plus, Evans very good at yards per catch. I mean, yards after the catch, excuse me. So I think there's I don't mind what he does. I think people want to see him get down the field. There's been some conversation about it. We'll see if he's able to get down the field. And then Kirk will give you some. Kirk gives you a little bit of everything. So if you put all that together, and you also take a guy like Trevor, because Trevor is a guy that wants to push it down the field. He has to actually reel himself in sometimes, especially that first and second year of trying too hard to get it down the field. and putting the ball in harm's way. But he is a guy that likes to let it rip now. So I think if you add all that up and you say, hey, what do the Jags want to be? I think the word explosive comes to mind. You say power run game, I get you. I believe it. Maybe more balanced, maybe be able to do that. But really their moves, their acquisitions, the way they've built this thing, say explosive.
Well, I think you set up explosive plays in the pass game with a good run game.
And a play action and everything else. So that'll be fun to watch. It'd be interesting if it plays out the way they want it to. How often does that happen? I don't know. Hey, let me catch you up on today's practice injuries. Because there was one that was interesting. We thought Anton Harrison was going to be back at practice today, or it could be from Doug Peterson on Monday. That did not take place. He's still in concussion protocol, so he didn't practice today. More and more looking like I can't imagine he's even going to play on Saturday. He might get on the field tomorrow, but then they really just have walkthrough on Friday. So I doubt they put him in there if he hasn't practiced in a week. We'll see. Deshaun Dixon misses. Andrew Wingard misses. Looks like they both have pretty significant knee injuries. Obviously, they keep putting Murtaugh on the list with an ankle. I mean, he's had surgery. And Peterson, obviously not practicing either, Josh Peterson. Individual work only, Stephen Jones. He continues to have a calf injury. Cooper Hodges. Be interesting to see if he can play at all. Because this is a guy that hadn't played a lot of football because he got hurt last preseason. And this is a big time for him if you want to still feel a certain way about the young man from Baker County. Ezra Cleveland, individual work only. Keelan Robinson. Will we not see the draft pick in the return game because of this toe injury that has lingered now for the last week or so? And Jordan Jefferson, who's deep on that depth chart, I can't imagine he plays in this first preseason game, which will put him behind. And the reps that they want to get guys like that to see what they have, he's going to be a little bit behind on that. The good news is full no contact is Ventrell Miller. And again, Doug said Monday, now we'll see if this comes to fruition, but he said he thinks Ventrell Miller will be able to play on Saturday in that first preseason game. The story of the last 15, 18 hours is the depth chart coming out. There's not really a lot of deep stories there. We try to read into it a little bit, but I'm not even sure you can. I think Austin nailed it the right way. It's like, hey, this is probably the order of play from these players coming up on Saturday. And then maybe that's how it even shifts around in week 2 and week 3. The starters are going to play a little bit on Saturday and probably not at all next week after they have the joint practices against the Bucs on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's where we are with that. Hey, we'll finish up. If we have any more Gabe Davis sound?
Just on the scuffle.
Yeah,
I didn't think
we've kind of already heard it. The Ryan Nielsen talked about that today too, and it's interesting coming from. I like when the defensive guys on the podium talking about the scuffle.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell he's like, we don't want that to happen, but it's going to happen. And kind of, it was almost like
kind of wanted it to happen a little bit.
Kind of wanted it to happen a little bit.
It happens a little bit, just as long as everyone's safe.
Yeah, and that was Buster Brown and Gabe Davis, and then you like to see everybody come out, and then it settles down.
Safe scuffling. Yeah, practice safe scuffling, everybody. That's going to be a T-shirt. Practice safe scuffling.
That is really good. You could actually brand that one.
Practice safe scuffling?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, connotations, but yeah, you can brand that.
I like it. Well, I'm just saying because you were a scuffler.
Correct. Yes. I was a scuffler.
Did you ever get somewhat hurt on a scuffle? Because again, I mean, you guys are stupid when it comes to this stuff.
Oh,
You're swinging.
How
with
I didn't break my hand is beyond me because I've sort of broke my hand like 5 times over. Did I ever get hurt? No, I had so much adrenaline going through me. Like I'm sure, after practice, I was like, "Oh, I'm sore," but what's it from? But in the moment, no, I didn't hurt myself or anything.
I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Or the fines could have been even or bad. You didn't get fined for any.
No, I think I might have got I had to go leave practice early for one in Chicago.
They kicked you out.
Yeah, that was when me and Kyle Long we fought in a walkthrough, and then we got kicked out of practice. But hey, no, we can't practice now? Oh no, Mr. Tressman, throw me out of practice? I can't stand in this heat for another an hour and a half. Oh, okay. I guess I'll go sit in the locker room with the AC and think about what I did.
Write it on the board 100 times. I think you've given us all the camp
I've
stories.
told the story before.
But
Kyle Long actually responded when we talked about it on the show.
Talk about it. I remember
he responded.
But what I can't remember was when you're scuffling in a walkthrough.
Yep.
Where did that brew from?
Because he pushed me after the whistle.
Oh, even in the just there. So it wasn't from something. It didn't stem from something.
Oh no. Kyle was like my dude. Like he was a really good, solid dude, man. Like we got along fine. But you know how it goes. You know when you're going about your business and that whistle blows, and I feel like I got pushed a little extra. I'm gonna push you back a little extra, and then he pushed me back a little extra. I pushed him back again, and then it transpired from there.
Would you now label yourself as a short fuse guy on the practice field?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can call it having a short fuse. You can have it calling it pride, not trying to get sunned, whatever you want to call it. I was that guy.
Not trying to get what?
Sunned. You know when someone tries to sun you? You know what that means?
No.
Really?
No.
Hamby, school him.
Mossed?
In a way.
Okay, I can kind of put the two
Getting
and two
sunned
together.
is just basically like, yeah, man, you got put in your place. You got put in your corner. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna put baby in a corner. Ain't gonna put me in a corner.
Is sunned a relatively new one, or does this go way back?
Oh, Brent, we've been, 2012.
Well, then
man.
why does he know? They still use it?
Because he has, social awareness.
I was wondering, are you going to go to a compliment here?
Yeah.
For Hamby?
Well, I don't know if that's a compliment. It's more of just like the status quo. Like, yeah, he's a member of the society, so he knows.
Like,
where are you at, dude?
It's like when you're maybe 2-3 years older than somebody, and you want to let them know, so you'll call them pal or buddy or something like that.
Chief.
Yeah.
Chief's the worst.
That's bad.
Oh, dude, I'm swinging on Chief.
Chief and
I'm
boss.
swinging, and
not a big boss guy either.
I hope our salespeople are listening. If we have a sale and like the guy that owns the company comes in and he gives me like the endorsement, and he comes in and goes, "Hey, how you doing, Chief?"
I'm out.
Not only am I out, I'm probably swinging. I'll be like, "What'd you say to me?" Sorry.
I feel like Chief is the most used one for the guy that's 30-year-old guy waiter who's trying to get on your good side immediately. Like, hey man, not impacting the tip percentage.
What an observation.
You know?
Those people definitely exist.
That's an interesting label. I think you would put the 30-year-old as calling Chief.
Chief.
Now, boss is a highly used one, which I don't
mind boss.
Really?
What's up, boss? I don't use it personally.
Yeah. I don't think I'm swinging at any of them.
I use homie a lot, which probably isn't the most professional thing, but what's up, homie?
wait. On the border of, in the order of like professional, where does chief and boss come in?
Boss is a professional term.
I know, but you don't.
Homie's not.
But you're not getting called that like in the professional term. You're getting called that at a restaurant.
Oh yeah,
or wherever.
Yeah.
What's up,
I got
boss?
You. Yeah.
How about guy? Hey, what's
guy's
up,
bad.
guy?
Guy's bad too. Yeah, guys.
I'm trying to think
with
of
all
what
due
I
respect
say.
to Guy Whimper, but guy's bad.
Champ. That's the worst one. Champ is the worst.
See, I don't think Champ's that bad because you think of like people call Tyson Champ. What's up, Champ? Like it's champion.
Nobody says champ.
Brent.
Who says champ?
Who hasn't heard champ in a conversation?
Well, I know, but that's like your grandfather calls you champ or something.
Sport? No, your grandfather calls you sport.
You got to be above a certain age to say champ. There's nobody that's 30,
Should we bring
35
sport
years
back?
old.
I said we start bringing sport back. What's up, sport?
Say that to Ronan tonight.
Oh, so yeah, you'll just he already calls me the cringe king. So like we go back and forth with that.
Wait, you'd have a hard time around me.
No, dude, this is our nightly thing now. Is like we go back and forth for at least 10 minutes on the phone when he's not hanging out with me. We go back 10 minutes about like how cringe each other is. So like last night I was saying like, yeah, we had the tornado warning here and the sirens went off, but it wasn't the sirens because of the tornado. It was because you got back into town from Wisconsin because you're cringe. And like that was my thing. And then he goes back and yeah, it's a 10-minute process. At least.
Nothing gets accomplished, but it's a 10-minute process.
They grow up so fast, Brett.
Yeah, they really do. I say man all the time now. I've caught myself.
That's probably because of me, right? Because
maybe. Because some of these things are like picked up on.
Yeah.
But I actually caught myself the other day. I saw a security guard, and it was an older gentleman at the Jags. And I was like, I think I said, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, like, I don't know if I should have said it. It hit me right then. I was like, that was probably bad. You have to call that guy man. It's something if I say it to you or Hamby or a lot of people.
I say it to everybody.
But
so
I do too. Like, I think I found myself, I'm like, what I caught myself doing.
That's probably
saying,
my fault, though.
Who else have I said it to that they were probably like,
I say dude and man an abundant amount of times. It's not like I don't notice it. I'm aware it's part of the vocabulary. Because I remember like I did a podcast a couple years ago. I want to say it was in town. And like the big thing after the podcast was, you said man like 47 times.
Really?
Like, people like chimed in on the podcast. Like, yeah, I say man a lot.
That's interesting.
It is what it is.
Hamby, what you go to?
Kirk Cousins.
I feel like I'm
You can make Kirk into a salutation.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Kirk?
What's up, Kirk? Captain Kirk. What's up, Cap?
There's another one, Captain, you could do.
What's up, Cap?
I don't know. I have to think about it. I feel like I kind of mix it up a good bit. I'm not a bro or any of that.
You're not, man. You're an old soul.
Yeah.
You don't have a single bro in you.
You don't say bruh?
No,
What up, bruh?
Can't do that one.
That was the one time, like, I get Kaylee, I don't think Ty actually says it, but Kaylee would say it. A couple years ago, in that stage where every high school kid, I think, is saying it, or maybe even beyond high school.
It's saying bruh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, like, everything's bruh.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said it one time. It's like, it's the only time I think I've ever said anything to kids, like, don't call me bruh.
Yeah. I've done that too, yeah.
Like, that's, that ain't happening.
Ronan started calling me Daddy-O, and I go, nope. I actually got a little pissed when he called me Daddy-O.
I feel like Ronan might need his own segment.
He goes, okie dokie, Daddy-O. I go, and he talked.
He started with okie dokie.
Yeah, he goes, okie dokie. And it was like, I was trying to tell him, because he kind of made a little mess. He's playing Uno. And then, like, the cards were all over the floor. And I go, dude, let's pick up the cards. He goes, okie dokie, Daddy-O. Like, he's trying to, like, kind of send me a little bit. And, I'm not playing that game. And I go, hey, let me tell you right now, we're not doing that ever again. but he does it now just to make me mad.
No, of course.
Yeah,
he knows how to push the buttons.
Yeah, but, like, Daddy-O?
Daddy-O,
what is this,
where did
Greece?
you even get that from?
Greece? I don't know, man.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's the worst.
But I got I think every once in a blue moon I'll go with big guy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and you kind
of I don't like that.
And I actually didn't like that. This was probably 5-6 months ago. It was this year. It's in this building. I'm crossing because the awkward at work. You're walking, they're coming the other direction. You're not on your phone, so you have to, you're greeting.
Yeah.
And normally
it's a rough one.
Just give the nod.
Yeah.
But this individual happened to be a larger individual. Okay. And I wasn't thinking anything of it.
John Bachman.
But I just hit him up. Hey, big, what's up, big guy? And then as I'm walking by, and I'm like, oh, shoot. Maybe he thinks that I was making a comment.
Oh, like.
Yeah, HR email coming.
Yeah.
Next hour.
Gosh. Why? Like, I don't really have a relationship with this person. It's just like somebody I see every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean that's almost the lines like, well, I will never comment. Like, if I see somebody in public with a lady, I will never comment if she's having a baby or not, because even if there's like the 99% chance that yes, she appears to be pregnant, she has all the symptoms. Okay, I'm still not gonna say anything about the pregnancy. I'm just gonna ignore it. Like, I don't see it right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Because there's gonna be that one time where I say, "Oh, so when you expecting?" Then she goes, "Huh?" And I'm gonna be like, "Well." Nice knowing you.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I'm not doing it. I don't talk about any kind of pregnancy.
By the way, you better have a couple of these up your sleeve when you walk around our building in the hallways, because it's either that or who are you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it changes so much.
Yeah.
I unfortunately couldn't name half the people. Well, of course, you're in the newsroom, but we're kind of tucked in our sports office. So,
right.
So man, dude, big guy.
Big guy.
Comes up. Those are necessary. Those are necessary.
Yeah,
for sure.
I say this all the time. I was like, if there's a trait that I wish I had that I was better at, it'd be names.
Names. Oh, try to remember the names?
Yeah, just
put it in your cell phone. You're always on it.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's like, even
That's what I do.
if you were to go introduce me to somebody,
okay,
right now I'd be like consciously saying, "Hey, listen," the name. But then I get in that setting and like 10 seconds later, I'm like, what the heck was their name again?
Put it in yourself. Like, so whenever I go to the gym, because, people want to come up and talk to me. I mean, you probably missed the story on Friday, but I am essentially Sully now in terms of saving the gym. So when I go,
that.
okay, so when I go in the gym now, everyone's like, oh, hey,
Did you go back? Have you gone back since?
I have gone back.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you were going.
Mixed reactions. Yeah, but it is what it is. But I always I'll make okay, this person was a little older, gray hair, did something or something, and then I'll put their name down. So I give them an attribute.
Yeah.
And that helps me remember
Smart.
their names.
But you're doing the first step. You're actually listening when they introduce.
Oh, yeah,
I'm bad at the initial part. It's like I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to listen, and then I really find myself 15 seconds later, I didn't even listen to the name.
Well, and it's not classy either when someone goes, hey, Austin, how you doing? And I take the phone from my pocket, I go, 1 second, and then I'm scrolling, I go, hey, Gary! No,
guy with the gray hair.
Brian, my dude, good to see you.
The guy.
There he is. That's if you ever want to know, if someone doesn't know your name, if you walk into a building, you say, hey, the guy's name. So hey, Tyler, how's it going? And Tyler goes, oh, there he is. He doesn't know your name.
He doesn't know.
He's trying to hype you up. Oh, there's the dude. But no, he don't know your damn name. He's just trying to cover it up.
You're right.
There's a little pro tip for everybody out there.
That is, I guess that's how man, boss, chief, everything else was trying to invent it.
Yeah. True.
Right? That's where you had to go to something.
Yep.
So bad at it. I wish I was better. I wish I'd be the better version of me if I was better at that. I got to work on it.
This was quite the conversation we had.
Yeah. Huh. Is that or the depth chart?
No, it was good, man. I mean, we got some comments in there. I'm sure another station will be stealing it next week. Have we seen the same thing?
Most likely.
Cool.
Who's keeping a scoreboard?
Nobody. Who's petty? Not
Let's
me.
do this. I know who's keeping a scoreboard. The traffic department. So let's take a time out here on the Brent and Austin Show. And
pepper it on, Casey. Pepper it on.
That's Hamby, by the way.
I'm sorry. I said Casey. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, dude.
Just got done talking about names, bro.
No, I was reading Casey's name. Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry. I saw Casey's name right there. I'm like, that's Casey. Yeah,
you
my
could have
bad.
done that. That was almost intentional.
Oh,
look
man.
at this. Check
My
out
bad.
these two bosses, chiefs and dudes.
There we go.
Tonight on the Scrap House,
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Spread it on.
24/7 network.
Nice. Just keep it there for another minute.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. You know I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's hard to put a price on comfort, especially when you use that comfort on a daily basis. But if we're going to put a price on it, how does the lowest price guaranteed sound? Furniture Source is going to have the biggest brands, whether it's Ashley, Casper, or Tempur-Pedic, and once again, it's going to be the guaranteed lowest price in Jacksonville. Right now, my friends at Furniture Source are going to give you the ultimate hookup because all month long, they're making their inventory wholesale price. Check out their markdowns up to 50% off. And remember, since it's Furniture Source, you're getting the guaranteed lowest prices in Florida or your money back. Don't have the cash on you right now? It's no worry. Shop endless options to suit your style and budget and enjoy 36 months off with no interest financing. Why use your money when you can use theirs? Whether it's beds, couches, tables, or chairs, Furniture Source is going to have exactly what you're looking for. Shop the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed. Find the location nearest you at FurnitureSourceJacks.com.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning and mostly all day. Remember, If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter.
Right now, get a free A200 Kinetico reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Kinetico water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Oh man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, you know, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out gwoutdoorliving.com for your free estimate.
New to town or always been in town? Everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're gonna love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations. Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Wow, you're quick with that, Hamby. There's Jarian Jones and Ronald Darby stopping over to see Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles as they were practicing inside the Daly's Place Flex Field today. Moved from UNF. They'll be in Jacksonville today and tomorrow. And that was cool that those guys stopped over. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions about to Mike Norvell about Jarian Jones. I know Olivia Tasley was over there. This is her video of capturing this moment. So good stuff. Seeing the old Noles, watching the current Noles. How good's Florida State going to be coming off that big season from a year ago? They're 10th in the preseason poll. Meanwhile, the Georgia Bulldogs, number 1 in the poll.
That's right.
Did you see, Hamby, did you think the poll was pretty accurate? Dogs 1, Ohio State 2. I think Oregon 3.
Yeah. Which, a lot of people are forgetting that Dylan Gabriel's there.
Yeah.
Just because they think, oh, Bo Nix is gone. Troy Franklin's gone. But Dylan Gabriel, for whatever this is his 6th year now.
Yeah.
He's still older than I am, I think. But, it's insane that his freshman year was my freshman year at UCF. But anyway, great college quarterback. Have no idea honestly, he's one of the guys I have no idea what he's going to look like in the NFL, but great college system quarterback with weapons. Unbelievable.
And only gotten better. He has a chance to be maybe the best player in the country this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the kind of Heisman conversation, that's for sure. And, I'm about as big a fan of Dan Lanning as possible, coming from, former DC at Georgia. So I like that at 3 Oregon, especially with their schedule. They should have an easy path to an undefeated season.
Wow, how about easy? They got Ohio State. And it's at home, but
I actually forgot about that.
So they got that. That's a blockbuster, one of the blockbuster games of the year. But still, with the playoff now, you can lose that and be okay anyway. And so, again, first year of the college football playoff will be interesting to see how it shakes out. In many respects, as you look at, like, I don't care about any of the teams that he's gone to, like Gabriel, from UCF to Oklahoma to Oregon.
Yep.
You know, when you don't have a dog in the fight, you're like, well, it's kind of a cool progression in a way, right?
Yeah.
To be able to be a college kid and play for that many teams. Now, he played in the COVID year, so he's getting more years. Not many people. It wasn't like it was 3 and 4 years or it was actually a 3 and 6 year guy. I think it is. So I have more of an appreciation for a player that stays with a program, and then if they transfer out, like, it's okay. It feels okay to me for some reason. I'm not sure it should or shouldn't, but it just feels okay. The guy that, like, goes a year and then moves and then goes a year and then moves, like, it's a little more. It just feels a little, I don't know, a little dirtier, a little not right, like, not the way the system's supposed to be. I mean, even in pro sports, we don't get guys, very many of them, jumping around from team to team, year to year. They sign 2-year contracts or 3-year contracts.
Correct.
You know, I mean, there are the Yannick Ngakwe's of the world that end up on a bunch of different teams, but those are the exceptions. You certainly don't find good players that are going to jump around from team to team, or really good players like this. So I do think the system in itself over these 5 or 6 years, I think the Gabriels of the world, he's utilized the system to his advantage. But I also think it's kind of the way it was meant to be for a guy like that might be a grad transfer, or to someone in his situation where he evolves as a player, goes to UCF, does well, and has an opportunity to go to a bigger school because he did well. Like, that part of it's okay to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with the. I do think there is almost a reserved sentiment for the guy who stays multiple years, and then it's almost like he enjoys the fruits of his labor at another school instead of going right away. And kind of like, because you can kind of sense that he's paid his dues at least a little bit, or he's went through a little bit, and not just kind of always searched for the most playing time. But, you know, Dylan Gabriel's played a lot of snaps now.
He's got a lot. I mean, ton of experience,
and it's almost, which is why another reason why Oregon's getting a lot of hype, because it's very similar essentially to Bo Nix, because Bo Nix has played so many snaps. Like, he's played legitimately 5 full seasons of college football. Dylan Gabriel is entering his 5th full season now. He had a couple injuries at UCF, but he's played a ton, and so of all of the quarterbacks in college football, by far, that their offense is the most comfortable with him.
Yeah, I would say, well, that's true. And I wonder where experience matters. Like, Bo Nix is now in Denver. I think he's 3rd on the chart when their depth chart came out again, whatever that means, right? So let's not put too much stock.
Not too much.
And people do it differently. Some people would maybe really say, okay, this is what our chart looks like. Jags looks like they just threw a bunch of names on a piece of paper and kind of said, this is the order you got here. This is the order you're going to be in there. And for some reason, Christian Brazel's the only nickel corner we've got. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But because of the experience Hamby's talking about in college, that's where I put some hope in for Bo Nix. Now, there's also a detriment here. That system is not played in the NFL. Like, the system guys, you said it, you don't know how good Dylan Gabriel's going to be. He's been a system guy in offense in college. Now, we might have offensive principals that have moved from college to the NFL, but not to the degree that some of those teams are running them. And so, but I do like the experience, like, totally different. You played with a guy in Blaine Gabbert where I don't think it was looked at enough by this franchise, but even by fans, that guy had very little playing experience. I think it's a knock against an Anthony Richardson right now with the Colts. He just has not played a lot of football. And now if you're talking about that position, you could say in other positions, let's take a Mason Smith. Ryan Nielsen said it today. Hadn't played a ton of football. He's been hurt a lot in college. But back to the quarterback position, that's a tough one to be pretty green at, man. Like, you have got to get experience at higher levels. One thing to play high school ball, but you have got to get that next level of expertise and a lot of reps and live bullets and all those things, in my opinion, to feel comfortable and be better to be able to make the transition to a league that's going to be hard.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But does that help Nix?
I mean, I think it's going to help Nix because he has Sean Payton to kind of guide him a little bit. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. It's the environment that you're in. It's the coaching staff that you have. It's the quarterback's coach. It's the offensive coordinator. It's the head coach sometimes. He's a minded guy. Very rarely the systems that you run in college are they going to replicate what you ran or what you're going to run in the NFL. But I think a coach who can speak the language, who can kind of make that transition a little easier, means everything. So I think Bo Nix will be all right because I look at Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton is a pretty good quarterback-friendly coach, despite what Russ Wilson will say about him.
Russell Wilson, by the way, not playing Friday night for the Steelers. It's going to be Justin Fields. It'll be interesting to watch that play out and see if Fields can wrestle that job away from Wilson. I'll go here quick then. Can he do that?
Can
Fields
be
win
a
that
starter?
job?
I mean, sure he can, but I think the odds right now are Russell Wilson's going to at least start week 1 and then go from there.
If Fields wins that job, just a hypothetical.
Okay.
What does it say more about? Fields was underused and overlooked in the Chicago system, or Russ is more washed than anybody really thinks?
I'm saying Russ is more washed than anybody thinks.
It's a good question, Hamby, huh?
Ricky. Because a lot of you refuse to, because a lot of me thought that Russell Wilson was underutilized and overlooked in Denver because of the whole playing time whatever that you want to call
at
that
the end
debacle.
of it.
Which,
yeah.
to be honest with you, it's still hard for me to understand. I mean, he was not playing bad football.
No, he's actually playing very good football.
And I know a lot of people believe that, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, those are big weapons individually. It seemed like just as a unit, it was an underwhelming unit to throw to. I really got that sense. Not that, and Javonte Williams going down doesn't hurt either. Really didn't have too much of a running game, but it's just hard for me to believe that Russell Wilson is already so close to the end of his career. There's got to be good years in there, and that's almost part of the reason why I wish they would go make a deal for Ayuk, because I really want to see what Russ has. And I feel like even if he's mediocre, then we can just blame it on the lackluster weapons and the lack of a running game. And I wish that there was no excuses, that he had everything in place so we could see, okay, this guy won a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls. Was he carried really that much, or does he still have a little left?
Yeah, I think it's wild to see it because if it goes real fast, which a lot of people say sometimes in sports for athletes, Russell Wilson was very good in Seattle right up and pretty much till the end. So they made that transition. Then he had a terrible year, obviously, with Hackett, who got blamed for a lot of that stuff too. But he did play pretty good football last year. It was managed football is the way I would say it. It wasn't like, let's just go do your thing. Peyton showed some of his brilliance there with the way he can kind of control that position and get the most out of it, and I think he did. But we're seeing other quarterbacks play really good football down the later part of their careers, and when you think it could be about done. From Stafford to Brady did it to, we'll see about Aaron Rodgers. So Russ isn't even close to that. He's not 38, 39, 40 years old. So by the way this position has been played recently, he should still have plenty of good football in him, Austin, for Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Or it just went fast for him when he's not that good anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had a great situation in Seattle.
He
I
did.
really do. You had a defense that had your back. You had a running game that also had your back. And, when they lost Russell Wilson in Seattle, they didn't really skip a beat the next following year with Geno Smith.
They didn't. No, they got better maybe.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to one other thing about the rookie quarterbacks, the Nixon experience. Take a look at this year's draft class. So you've got Caleb Williams, played a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Drake May, played a lot.
Jaden
Daniels,
Not so much.
not as much. Not got experience, but not like those guys.
I think he played almost as many games as Caleb Williams did.
Did he really?
Let me see.
Did he go that far back?
It's going to take me a minute. So
All right. Yeah. So, okay, let's just say plenty of experience. Who else we got? Who else got drafted? Oh, we said Knicks.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they got that's not as much a thing. See, when Mac Jones came out, it was like, well, he hadn't played a lot.
Sure.
When
Joe Burrow.
Burrow came out. Yeah, hadn't played a lot. When I think it was a different story around a guy like Trey Lance. One that he hadn't played a lot. It was just that he hadn't played at a higher level.
Okay.
So, but I
It's
think
the Josh Allen effect.
a little bit of the Josh Allen stuff. So, at least with this group of quarterbacks, you can say, hey, they all played a bunch. Like, experience is not a problem. It'll be interesting to see how quick they adapt to the NFL versus other classes. The big class right now that's done well is the 2020 class in the that got paid. They all got like extensions. Not the 21 class, which everybody thought was going to be really good.
Yeah.
2020 class. That was Burrow. That was Tua.
Pretty good.
That was Herbert.
Good.
There's a couple other ones in that
I'll
class.
look it up.
But really, Burrow's the only one that probably didn't play a good amount of football. Tua was okay. Tua played some. Obviously, he came in and played some significant football, and then he also had injuries. So his amount of reps, I would say, was more limited than some of the other guys.
All right, so the 2020 draft class from the quarterbacks, we have. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Now it's going slow for me, too. All right, so you got Jordan Love was in that group?
Oh, Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
Like if you look at the 2020 class, they all got paid.
No, I'm looking at
Jalen
these
Hurts is in
stats.
that group?
Hurts.
Yeah, so we
Another
got
guy, a lot of
Burrow,
football.
Tua, Herbert, Love, Hurts, Eason, and then, Jake Luton, Ben DiNucci.
All right, give me y'all's guess on how many games Caleb Williams played compared to Jaden Daniels.
I would have said that Caleb Williams played significantly more, like a year more. But it sounds like from your tone and what you said that I'm wrong.
If I'm going to guess, I would say that Caleb Williams played 10 more games than Jane Daniels.
Okay, Jaden Daniels played 18 more games
Then Caleb Williams?
Yep. 3 years at Arizona State. 2 of those were complete seasons. One was cut short as an injury his second year there. Then 2 full seasons at LSU. But Caleb Williams only had the 2 years at USC and 1 at Oklahoma.
Wow. And Jane Daniels started all those games, too, at Arizona State? Before he got hurt, obviously.
Well, I mean, his freshman year, those were the – I mean, he started almost every game. Sophomore year played 4, injured.
Okay.
2021, last year, Arizona State, 13 games. And then 2 complete years at LSU.
It's interesting.
It's like COVID year.
55 games for Jaden Daniels.
So that actually speaks really more, put it in this column where this is an experienced group of players coming in to the National Football League, and I'm interested to see how much that experience pays off. It can't hurt. It's definitely good to have that experience, see different things, see different looks. What's pretty wild also about Daniels is, and LSU makes you burst on the scene and become a household name way more than Arizona State does, doesn't it? It's like, I mean, Caleb Williams, obviously Oklahoma, you knew him and everybody talked about, but Jaden Daniels wasn't a thing until this year outside of the Southeast.
Yeah.
He had shown some things 2 years ago at LSU too, but I didn't know he had played all those games. I mean, there was some video out there, of course, him throwing touchdowns to Ayuk, right, at Arizona State,
and Pearsall,
which is
right?
Crazy, and Pearsall would have been too. So yeah, pretty wild. But so you knew he was there. I just didn't know he played that much.
They had one more dude. Their running back was a dude. Anyway.
Hey, interesting. The you have a topic today, and I don't know if you have an answer, but you threw this at us, so now you got me interested. Top 10 players in the AFC South.
Yeah, who's your team? You didn't do the homework, did you?
I didn't do the homework. Well, you texted me this morning while I was at practice.
All right. Stay for tomorrow?
Yeah, okay. Or a break. I could do it quick.
All right.
In a commercial break.
Okay. Want to do the show?
I didn't know if you wanted it to be spontaneous or not. You did homework.
Oh, no. I mean, I just I didn't do any research. I just labeled 10 guys off the top of my head. I probably got,
which is the better way to do it.
Spoiler alert, sorry, offensive lineman, didn't get a lot of love. A couple guys
Jeremy Tunsil did not get in there.
Oh, no, he's in there.
Oh, okay. He did get
he's
a
like
little
one of the best tackles in the league. Okay. You got to give him some credit. But like Quentin Nelson didn't get in there. Sorry.
Who's a better guy at their position, Tunsil or...
Oh, dude, Tunsil. Quentin Nelson didn't really do any. I mean, like, you never heard his name last year.
I think at times Quentin Nelson's been a bit overrated.
Well, yeah, I mean, it all goes back to that once again against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That one play where he was leading the.
No, I know there was
pulling block and he's screaming, and then I forgot who the player was that he hit, but
yeah, it was a hype.
Might have been Leon Jacobs again. I don't know.
There's a little bit of a hype train around him as a guard, Partly because of that play, but also he's a good player.
Drafted too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good. I mean,
they extended him, so they like him.
Yeah. I mean, I have a different thing we can do too with Caleb Williams. I sent the video. Hamby, if you want to play, if we go on a break pretty soon.
I have it.
We going to break?
You got no. If he's got it, we usually just got to give him a little time to get it. So I wasn't sure if he had it. But if you have Caleb Williams, let's see what you got.
This is from Hard Knocks.
This ain't no honeymoon.
Boo that man. Boo that man.
Hey, throwing stuff at him.
Boo that man. Ruining John Legend. Boo him. Boo him. Oh, and then he's messing. Yeah, I mean, just embarrassing. Embarrassing. Okay. So that was from Hard Knocks. You guys didn't watch it, I assume, right? Nobody.
No.
Yeah, you guys didn't watch
I mean,
it.
I saw.
Not gonna waste my time.
That he got booed.
I'm not gonna get into it. But I bring this up every single year because this always seems to be a thing. Now, Aiden Hutchinson kind of reinvented the whole rookie singing thing because he had Billie Jean and kind of tore the house down a little bit with it, right? So some guys know what they're doing when it comes to singing songs. Well, we have Jason Hamby here, who's a singer himself. We have Brent, who, he's heard music before, so he gets it.
He's heard music.
And we have a chat here that has a lot of opinions. I feel like an eclectic group of people in our chat that have different songs. And you know what I say, and I've said this every single time we've gone through this thing. There's one song you should sing. I'm not going to say the song because I'm going to wait to see somebody says it. There's one song you should sing if you are a rookie and you get called up to sing the rookie song. There's one song you should sing. But I figured a fun game would be, and once again, talking to the chat as well, if you're a rookie in the NFL and you had to get up there in front of everybody and you had to sing one song, you had to sing for your life, right? Don't want to be a meme. Don't want to be getting grilled on Twitter. You have to sing for your life. What is the one song that you are going to sing in front of the entire team in the locker room to get you into, GOAT status, if you will? Hamby, what do you got for us?
Shock Your Mock Country.
Strong. Might be getting booed, but strong.
All right, let me think about this.
Yeah, think about it, man. Brent,
how about this? How about we go to break and we come back with our answers?
Yep. Well, Brent, just go and say Garth Brooks. Right now
Garth Brooks. Anything?
Oh, we got to pick one song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chicken fried.
All right, you guys go ahead and think about this a little bit.
All right, we'll give you a break to think about it. When we come back, your songs to sing, and Austen says he has some advice for you. Maybe you should be the rookie
I've given
advisor.
this advice 4 times in the show.
I know. Maybe you should be the rookie advisor for these guys.
Yeah.
Start your own little company.
All right.
Part of your marketing plan, agency. That can come in and help the rookies out with their rookie transition.
I mean, I just wish more listened to the show, Brent, because we don't have to see these things with Caleb. I mean, you think Caleb Williams' confidence is shot?
He was even in Jacksonville. He could have got words from you. He trained in Jacksonville.
You have to question the decision-making of Caleb Williams for freaking a John Legend song. Dude's got a voice of an angel.
Go Whitney Houston next. Why don't you? We'll be back on the Brent and Austin Show.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com. And they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Building off a summer of terrific action at Southern Oaks Stadium, the Jacksonville Armada are looking forward to the future and the return of pro soccer in Northeast Florida. Season ticket reservations for MLS Next Pro are underway, and for just $100, you can lock in some great benefits when it comes to supporting the boys in blue. Those who make a reservation will have first selection options in the new Armada Stadium out east, near Jacksonville's downtown sporting complex, as well as access to supporter VIP events like stadium tours, open training sessions, and future meet and greets with players and coaches. You can make your season ticket reservations at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket. And while you're there, read the very latest on the Armada men's and women's teams in action this summer. Show your commitment to the fleet with an MLS Next Pro season ticket reservation at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jags team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, there's a Wednesday lineup coming up right after us at 1 o'clock. Update with Action Sports Jax 24/7, and on it with Stuart Weber. He's got a week with Action Sports Jax 2. Travis Fulton's Stripe Show podcast, new episode out today at 2 o'clock. And 4 o'clock, it will be Young and Norvell Show. And 7 o'clock, it will be the Scrap House with
see.
Austen Lane and Casey Kurtz.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
What kind of music they're playing.
Oh, wow. Look at that bump.
That goes full screen on it.
Getting all the bumps today.
By the way, speaking of music, who's got the best entrance music for you, wrestling-wise?
Edge.
You think you know me. Yeah, that's a good one.
Man,
That's a good one. Yeah, especially when he came back after that long layoff. That was good. That's a good question, Brent. I mean, Cody Rhodes is pretty good. You know, because everyone can sing along with it.
Remember, Brent, that was the one that I played after WrestleMania?
I do remember that.
There you go.
Yep. I'd probably say Cody Rhodes.
But, like, you know what's interesting to me? Again, this is a very novice wrestling guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the music that, when I say that,
mm-hmm.
the one that comes to mind, and I'm not even sure if there was a song related to it. I think it was just like a beat and everything, is The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But was there actually like a music? Was it music or was it
No,
just like
no. It was just the ambiance.
the bell or the whatever it was?
Yep.
Or the drum.
Like the pipe organ, I guess it would be like the
Pipes, yeah.
But that's what comes to mind. Like that's really the one that.
Oh, that's one of the most iconic
Right?
entrances of all time.
You knew what it was.
I mean, you have Stone Cold with like
Stone Cold
the
with the
glass
glass.
breaking. Is
yeah,
a classic
true.
one.
So it's almost like sometimes it's noises,
Yeah.
right, or sound effects that actually play out more than the music side.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
All right, so you ask a question. If you had to sing in front of the world,
Dang. Daniel Kilkenny quick. Joe Walsh, life's been good. So it's funny he said that song because I used to do the morning show.
yeah,
And there's Stranger Things.
yeah,
Okay. So in like the last season of Stranger Things, you had to have like a song that brings you back, that like puts you in a good mood, or else like you get killed by this monster. And for my song that I picked Joe Walsh, Life's Been Good for me, because I distinctly remember like one of my very first memories was in the car with my mom singing this song because she really liked it. So I remember like that always puts me at ease because me and my mom used to always sing that song together. So that's crazy that of all the songs.
That's when you landed.
I mean, it's pretty simple, like it'd be a good one. Now, the question is, would everybody in that locker room know that song though? And would they cheer you on, or would they be like, what is this? But me personally, Daniel, that's a good one.
You know what? Before we get to the songs, I just saw. Remember, I'd asked earlier, like the disappointment on the face of like your kid.
Mm-hmm.
I love when I get that on the face of Austen. Like he's like, he said something.
Very
he's
animated.
like, this is not going to go well, and he says, hey, on the old show, when they had Stranger Things, he's like, Stranger Things, and then he gives you this stare, like, you son of a. You don't know.
Well, no, I wasn't like that.
That's kind of what he looks at. He's like, this freaking idiot.
No, so
He's
here's
like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Here's what I'm thinking when I said that, because I'm very animated and I can speak without speaking. You know why? Because I'm Daniel Day-Lewis, man. I'm a method actor. You know what I'm saying, Brent? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta speak with your eyes, speak with your body language. I had that body language because I figured like you didn't know, but I have to be a good co-host and still ask you to try to include you in the conversation.
Put you in this confusing spot.
No, I'm just like,
I get it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, talk about Stranger Things. Well, I better include Brennan here because he's here.
And then like you used to have like maybe like Kuz was on the show back in the day.
Yeah,
and he'd have a little bit like he was paying attention to all this stuff because he was on doing his own radio thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Casey wasn't that great at this stuff either.
Mm-hmm.
But now he knows you, Hamby. He's like, Hamby's like the oldest 23-year-old I've ever met.
Oh, Hamby knows Stranger Things.
He knows some things, but there's some things. Don't worry. He's saying to say he looks over to the right and he's like, no, he needs the human enigma.
No, I know Hamby. You know what Stranger Things is, right? Come on.
I mean,
come
know
on.
what it is.
Yeah. Oh, but you've never seen it?
No.
Rough, man.
Yeah.
It's rough.
No
See, I guess I assumed. Meanwhile, have you seen it, Brett? Have you seen it?
No.
I mean, I'm not judging. I mean, the first season was
good, so I should see it.
I don't know if it'd be up like, I don't know, it's sci-fi kids stuff. I don't know if you'd be into it.
I'll watch almost anything. I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. Like it is like if you tell me that, I'm usually like, I'm probably not going there.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I wouldn't like it. I don't like sign up for it.
I hear you.
I don't go get it.
Yellowstone, cows, I got it. We all get it. We talked about this a million times in the show.
So I had this. We'll get to this.
There we go, Yellowstone, Brett. What do you got?
Not yet.
Okay.
When is that last season coming out? It's
hurry.
been on delay forever.
Hurry.
But so yesterday I was looking for this show because you ever been to Hilton Head?
Is that South Carolina?
Yeah.
I think I drove past. I've never been there, like vacation. I've driven past there.
So Hilton Head's a cool little vacation spot.
Yeah.
And Steph's family used to go a bunch when she was a kid. And so there would be this guy that sang, just like this guitar singer, under a tree in Hilton Head. His name's Greg Russell.
Homeless?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
But he was just like, he became a staple there.
Oh, okay.
It was like a kid's show and all this stuff. So we took the kids.
Okay.
And Steph's talking about this thing. It's not why we took the kids. We were just going to Hilton Head. This was like when they were 5.
You're not going to take the kids to see a guy underneath the tree play guitar. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
There's more to
but
it.
They were like 5, so we go to Hilton Head. We're 3 hours from there. Why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And turns out the guy's still playing. She had no idea if he was even still playing.
Dang.
So he's still playing there. And it was really fun. It was great. It was a great show. Like you can see why it's. But somebody just told us up in Ohio, Steph's brother, that they did a documentary on him. He's actually been playing up there for 50 years.
Dang.
And so, long story short is I was looking on Apple TV, not only for Action News Jax Now app so you can watch a show, but for this documentary. And I almost started to play it. They weren't back from Ohio, so I almost did it like Monday night, and I was going to check it out. I was like, I really shouldn't watch this without Steph.
No, you got to include the family.
So I waited. So I said, okay, I'm going to watch something else. So I started watching like Presumed Innocent. Have you heard of that?
Is this with the who's the actor? Yeah, I've heard of it. It's with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Sure,
I think, and two women, right? Like one gets.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen
I guess
this.
there's like multiple seasons. I didn't even know.
Okay.
I just looked it up right now and said
it's good though.
It's good. So but I don't ever do this. I had a dentist yesterday, so I didn't book anything else after.
Okay.
Because I didn't know if I'd be like able to talk or numb or whatever.
Dude, suck it up. I mean, come on, man.
No, I just didn't know. I didn't know
what to IR. Even if you got a numb mouth, you'd be good to go.
I know. I didn't know what I was going to have to do.
I got you.
So I didn't know if they were. Heck, I knew I'd have to do some work. I didn't know if they'd knock me out or whatever.
I got you.
So anyway, I had this free time. I ended up like binging like the whole show.
Dang.
Till like 2:00 in the morning.
Good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's the Brent Martineau seal of approval.
So anyway, but you hadn't seen Presumed Innocent.
I haven't seen Presumed Innocent.
One to watch.
If you're looking for one to watch Severance. Severance.
Okay.
That's Hamby's shaking his head. No, we're not in the Severance train.
I'm not watching any of these.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I hear you.
But
old soul.
Stranger Things, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah. I mean, like, if we're being fair, it's not one I would tell like, yo, you got to watch this one. Yeah. But like, it's kind of like FOMO. I mean, and you already missed out.
I already missed out.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, I'm just being honest, man. Like, Stranger Things came out like 6, 7, 8 years ago.
The one FOMO I have of a show that I'm like, man, I'm gonna go see this because everybody's talking about it.
Breaking Bad's for me, by the way.
Well, that's one that's up
FOMO.
there, but it's Hunger Games. Oh, and I never saw that. And they had several of those, right?
They just had the 5th one. I saw it a couple months ago.
So,
correct.
But like I'd heard about it, and I was like, I think I'd probably like that.
I mean, the first one was really good.
I love them.
I watched it with my mom. Yeah, that was weird though.
It got a lot of attention, right? At the
it's
time.
violent. It's kids with violence.
Very
violent.
Like kind of controversial,
kind
of violent, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I think I remember when that came, but that must have been like a decade ago now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that will show you where I still haven't seen it.
I was still playing with the Jags when it came out because I took my mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So anyway, all right, back to
I was going to ask you quick. Who do you think makes more money, the guy playing the guitar under the tree or the people selling the boiled peanuts on the side of the road? Who's making more money?
That's a great question, but I would say the guy under the tree.
Okay.
Because my guess is he has become such a
he's a staple, right?
Probably pay him to be there.
Yeah, but if you're making those boiled peanuts, like, if you stay for a while, maybe you'll get a documentary about you too.
Well, you couldn't. And by the way, there's more potential with the boiled peanuts.
Yes,
because you can get that into a bunch of places and stores, and
people are hungry.
People are hungry.
People don't even want to listen to a folk song. Sometimes we're more death metal or something.
All right, so where do you land? What song are you singing, Hamby?
Hamby, what song are you singing?
So
Life on the Line.
And I got to have a good performance. I have 2 options. And I'm
Cocky.
almost.
He's got 2 options. He's got a backup.
He's musically inclined.
I know.
If I got a crush, okay.
If I got a kill,
then my first prerequisite is that everybody knows the song.
But when this thing was going to be done, that was going to be one of my first caveats I was going to say is like, it's got to be a song that everyone can identify and bonus points if people can sing along to it.
Yes.
Okay, so for that reason, I'm actually not a fan of this song because it's been so overplayed. I've been asked to play it out, and it's just like, no, it's one of the last things we want.
Happy birthday.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Oh, Sweet Caroline. That's a classic.
Because I get the whistles. It takes me back to the Migos this is actually a young thing that I know. The talk show host, James, who does the car ride along.
Yeah, James Gordon or whatever.
Yeah. When he had Migos in, they played Sweet Caroline, and they made with the whistles and all
that. Yeah.
All right, I can go with that.
Okay, I like that one. And I think everybody knows Sweet Caroline.
Also, here's my number 1 choice, though. I'm letting it ride. I'm probably showing off a dance move or 2, and I'm going with Tequila.
Getting booze.
Getting booze.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, it's so long.
What's the dance you're going to do with it?
Well, I have no idea, but it's almost like this dry humor that
Tequila.
people would make funny. It would make funny.
Yeah, but then okay, and I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of these play out, Hamby, and I like what you're saying. It's a basic song, no pressure on you. You can bring dance moves, but like effort means something as well. And if you're just going up there going tequila and that's it, you're gonna get booed.
Oh well, I mean, this is
So just to let you know, Sweet Caroline, I would start that off with Sweet Caroline and then put tequila like on the deck. Just saying.
okay. I have more. But
Brent's are you going to bring a musical instrument along for this?
Oh, I would. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
you
that
bring
would
a
help.
guitar.
That would
Yeah,
help,
for
right?
sure.
Almost wouldn't matter the song
Yeah,
then.
yep.
If you can play the guitar a little bit. You know, it's funny. As Sweet Caroline was on my list, and then I changed it before you even said it. But it's funny that you were going there. I don't feel like songs are overplayed. I'm not a big I know songs are overplayed, but I'm never like, hey, that's overplayed. I'm starting to get that way a little bit with Sweet Caroline, and it's a Red Sox thing to me.
Yeah.
It's but it's so overplayed now that it's almost taken it away from being a Red Sox thing.
I feel like every bar you go to is going to have
Not
that
almost
song
every
playing.
bar, but almost every sporting event.
Yeah.
Heck, they played in London.
Oh, London loves that
right?
song.
They love it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, wait a minute, that was like my Red Sox song. Like that's why you go I want to bring my mom to Fenway Park. Not to watch the game or the seventh inning stretch and take me out of the ball game, but for the atmosphere and scene when they play Sweet Caroline. Mm-hmm. And I think they've almost they've done it, or they've overdone it everywhere else. That to me, it's lost a little bit of the Fenway luster that I had related that song to. You know, in recent years, it became so big when the Red Sox were good, they even brought Neil Diamond out to sing it, live. It's amazing how popular that song has gotten in the last 15 years.
So I just Googled it. Do you know the story behind Sweet Caroline?
I don't.
All right. So Neil Diamond wrote this song about his second wife, Marcia Murphy. He married her in 1969, divorced her in 95. He chose the name Caroline because it fit the melody better than Marcia. And he was inspired by the magazine cover of Caroline Kennedy, the daughter of U.S. President John F. Kennedy. So imagine singing a song about your wife,
Not using her name,
but then you took your wife's name out.
Well, it's good that they ended up divorced.
Right. Yeah,
or maybe that's part of the reason.
You think she got that, the rights of that in the alimony?
Yeah,
you get it's a lot because that song gets played everywhere.
But just think, since 1995 when they got divorced, that song has hit a whole new level.
That dude's making royalties like you wouldn't believe.
All right, what do you got?
Because one other thing, about the Red Sox, now everybody has a song that they play. Even the entrance music, for closers is the thing at baseball. The Red Sox were one of. It was take me out to the ball game, and then it was that. Mm-hmm. I think the Yankees have one too. I thought the Yankees had something that they play, but it wasn't. Now everybody has a song. Everybody's got a thing that they do. So I'm going with you want everybody to sing along?
I do.
You want everybody to have some fun?
I do.
You want you to get drowned out a little bit because it doesn't matter how good you sing
exactly
it,
what
and
you're
I'm
gonna
not
say.
great singing. Where am I going?
Don't Stop Believing.
Nope.
Oh, that's
Great
not a bad
Balls
one.
of Fire. Let's go a little Top Gun.
That's pretty good.
You don't like that one? Why not?
Well, no, I mean I like it, but not everyone's seen Top Gun.
Oh, come on,
Brent. Not everyone's seen Top Gun. Hamby, you seen Top Gun?
Yes.
You seen Top Gun? Okay, maybe everyone has seen Top Gun. then.
Actually,
okay, everyone
wanted
has
to
seen
it.
Top Gun.
My last year at college, I actually just went and saw it by myself. I wanted to see it so bad. First night, nobody else
Wait.
could go.
The original.
The second one or the original?
I've seen both.
Because I thought he was getting to the point. Wait, there's two Top Guns.
Seen both.
That's where I thought he was going. There's two Top Guns.
I hope you haven't seen the second one and not the first one.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
No, but the second was fire.
Okay.
on, why don't you like that? I
Goodness
thought you
gracious,
liked
Great
that.
Balls of Fire. I mean, the one thing I don't like about that, Brent, is you have to be super energetic, though.
I can bring some energy. I just
I
can't
know you
sing.
can, but
you don't
that's
have
what
to
I'm
be able
saying.
to sing.
See, and this is what I'll say it again. Bill Withers, Lean on Me. It's a nice, chill song, and everybody can sing it.
That's good.
Lean on me. You're dude, if you hear that song, you're gonna start singing it. That to me should be. And once again, Caleb Williams. I don't know why you went John Legend.
Yeah, that's a tough.
Tall
task.
It's out of your vocal wheelhouse. But Bill Withers, everyone can sing it.
Yeah,
Also
I think
this-
of out of wheelhouse, and you think of you never want to sing a Celine Dion song or a Whitney Houston song, right? And the male version of that is Legend up there. In that?
He's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Voice of an angel.
So I almost went with one of these guys.
But
you
I
probably
do like
should
Great Balls
try.
of Fire, by the way, bro. That's good. Well, would you go with Hamby? Sorry.
In a couple weeks ago, I was in Nashville. I was on Broadway, and me and my buddy were about to do karaoke, and we decided before we went in what song we were going to do, and I was pushing for, and we decided on Even Flow. By
Pearl Jam, yeah. Which, if you don't know the song, it's
it's heat, but it's hard.
Yeah, but dabba doobie doobie dabba doobie doobie dabba deep. Yeah,
that's one of the. We think that's hilarious that he doesn't say really any words.
Yeah.
A very tough song, but that was before I went up to the guy and realized that the line was 25 people deep.
Really?
Yikes.
So we had an 8 o'clock game.
People love karaoke. It surprises me how much people like that.
I sang Scar Tissue, Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Christmas party here for Cox Media.
Whenever you want.
On the radio side, Brent. Sorry, you were.
I actually showed up to that later.
Oh, did you show up?
Didn't sing, though.
Wish you would have showed up. Help me out, man.
I'll bring my guitar and I'll play the lick for you.
Nice. All right.
We got to get Hamby playing something sooner or later.
Of course.
That. We want the whole family in.
Yeah, we can.
Right? House band?
The Hamby, the house
Hamby
band.
house band.
Hamby fam house band.
That's right.
That'll be a t-shirt, too.
That will be a t-shirt. A couple other things to get to. This is just an odd show today. But we'll get back to some football and a little baseball, too. Do you have our predictions?
Oh, shoot.
Oh!
I might have them.
Yeah,
but we want to catch up and see where we're at because you're not in again until like next Tuesday, Hamby. So, and 21-game streak is over and almost another no-hitter. And I have a question about no-hitters I want to ask you guys and see your thoughts on it. That's coming up next. Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. It's a Whataburger Wednesday here on the show. New to town or always been in town, everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza. Some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're going to love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us. And at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jax Beach and Mandarin locations. Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From 1954 to 2024, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. That commitment includes a partnership with the Action Sports Jax 24/7 team as the presenting sponsor of all Armada men's and women's broadcasts this summer. Action Sports Jax and Alive Credit Union, a partnership that just makes sense when it comes to covering Northeast Florida. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of our first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning. And mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Oh, there. I love how you always use the same font. Should we make this into a T-shirt too?
Super
No, please don't. Please don't.
Oh, here it is in all its glory.
This is Hamby getting penciled, apparently. I don't even know what that means.
It didn't sound good.
I don't know if it's dirty.
It didn't sound good or whatever it was.
No, not dirty. Not dirty. But man, this is historic.
Austin, the pennant though, man.
This is
All of a
fucking
sudden, out of the
terrible.
kids' corner there,
Vlad
the booth, the drive-through, you hear, I'm getting penciled.
I'm getting penciled.
Austin,
I am.
This is one where I'm like, Austin, do you know what that means? He's like, no, but it didn't sound good.
Oh, well, let's go over it, Hamby. What do we got here?
Well, first of all, let's talk about. I mean, obviously, I don't want to talk about my issues, so we'll start with y'all's.
Okay.
I mean, Brent's probably going to have 2 division winners, maybe, with the Yankees and Dodgers. But let's take a look at his World Series winner, the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, Brent, out on a limb on that one, huh? Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say too much because, you know, Blue Jays, but
And then, yep, there's the obvious.
there's my downfall.
Yep, the Blue Jays there for Austin.
I said Vlad Guerrero had, I remember he had the cover of the show. I'm like, it's going to be Vlad Guerrero's year, and yeah.
And
Not
then
so much.
obviously mine is the. Well, I had the Cubs winning the division, L. I have the Giants winning the division but losing first round to the Dodgers, L. And then the Braves are at this point might not even make the playoffs. So just to.
It's not the best. I mean, we have the Mariners, Astros.
But I got the Yankees and Orioles still in the mix at least. The Twins are only 4 back and in the mix to win the division in the Central.
So yeah, I got the Twins.
We got time. And then the Mariners are in first. I mean, my division winners aren't so bad in the AL.
yeah.
The Braves obviously know, the Reds know, Dodgers, yes. And then I need
Brent,
can the Giants even make the playoffs?
I mean, I think they're pretty much.
Like a junkie who couldn't lay out. You couldn't lay off the Reds, could you?
I couldn't.
Yeah,
4.5
you had to
games
wet
out
that
the
beak.
Giants. We got to sneak them in the playoffs somehow.
Do the Cubs have a prayer?
The Cubs no longer have a prayer. They're like 6 out,
Let's go to the Reds report real quick.
5.5 out.
8.5 games out of the
of the
division for the Reds, by the way.
Yeah.
I hate to see
Oh,
that.
the
Cubs are
Brewers
in
have
last
that wrapped?
place.
Sorry?
The Brewers have the Central wrapped up? Yeah, just about.
They're up 6 games.
That's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot this time of year.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good.
How about are we doing on MVPs?
Terrible.
Bryce Harper's been out for me, right? So is that done?
I mean, yeah. I mean, my guy played 20 games.
Ellie can't win NL MVP, can he?
I mean, he's definitely the best pick of the 3.
Yeah.
And Soto's not a bad pick. He's not going to win it.
Yeah. Rutschman's definitely not.
Freddie Peralta, not my best moment.
Worst team. I got that.
Brent got the worst team.
You've been saying that for the last couple months.
So do we know? I mean, who's winning right now? I didn't count all this up.
I didn't either. But,
Okay, whatever.
Are we gonna do it
We're having
like Are we going to do it like March Madness where it gets more points for or everything is kind of the same?
Yeah, just don't give too many. If he only gets the Phillies right on all this list, he can't win it.
Oh, I'm taking it then. I'm taking it. No, I mean, that's not a bad call. Like the World Series winner should get a little more bump.
He probably should, yeah.
I mean, Hamby, don't worry about it with the Braves. And Brent, you're obviously Giants. All
right, I got a weird question for you guys on baseball. It crossed my mind yesterday. And I think you could argue both sides of it.
Okay.
So that's why I like the question. So Valdez, Fromber, almost threw a no-hitter last night. Gave up a home run and 2 outs in the ninth. Mm-hmm. He had already thrown one like last year. I think he flirted with another one. Yep. It was like an opening day one for him.
Yep.
23, and then he almost flirted with another one like 2 weeks later or a month later or something like that, if I remember correctly. And then he had one cooking again last night. I looked this up. Do you know how many guys, what would you guess how many players in Major League Baseball history have thrown 2 or more no-hitters? Give me like a ballpark. I'm not expecting you to get it right, but
2 or more no-hitters.
I'll say 10.
I'm going to say like 7.
I was thinking the same boat. I was thinking like that. 35.
Oh, damn.
Really?
35.
I mean, Nolan Ryan threw what, 5?
Well, he threw 7.
Oh, okay, 7.
And then Koufax threw 4. There's some old time. There are some names you had never even heard of. I mean, you go back to like the 1880s. But like Verlander has 3.
Yeah, I was about to say Verlander has at
least. And Randy Johnson had 2. And so like there's some relevance to today's pitchers on that list. I think Scherzer maybe has a couple in there, if
2.
I'm not mistaken. So, Snell just threw one. That dude, he has 5 outs in his entire career recorded after the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he threw a no-hitter. That is an amazing stat, by the way, to be a pitcher and have 5 outs recorded. And this is a guy that has 2 Cy Youngs. Mm-hmm. That is nuts. That is a crazy stat.
25 pitches an inning.
So this kind of argues against the question that I'm about to present. Is it easier in today's day to throw a no-hitter as a Major League Baseball pitcher?
No.
And you're saying no because most pitchers don't go that distance.
Correct.
In the Snell conversation.
And the matchups, and they don't want you to face a guy 3 times through the order.
I mean, Skeens had one going through the 7th or 8th in Milwaukee, and they pulled them.
Yeah. So I understand that part of it. But I'm going to counter with the swing and miss and the batting averages are lower than they've been in the history of the game. So if, like, your batting average, you don't have guys hitting 200 in the lineup.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it be, and your stuff's nastier than ever? Like, there are just wipeout pitches. And while I understand the 3rd time through the order, you have more data as a hitter that you can go check into, but you have the same as a pitcher. So if you're on that day and your stuff's really working, you know what's working. I feel like, and this is a feel-like answer that got me to this question, that from when I was a kid, outside of Nolan Ryan, who seemed like the only guy that threw no-hitters, to now over the last 10 or 15 years in Major League Baseball, we flirt with more than ever no-hitters. And I don't know if that's accurate. I just feel it, that we flirt with those way more. We get them to the 9th inning. We get them to the 8th inning. You get an alert on your phone. Now, again, maybe because we're getting alerts on our phone, that we know a guy has them at 5 or 6 innings deep. I don't know why, but all of a sudden you look up and boom, boom, boom. Now, perfect game, totally different situation. These guys were like Fromber Valdez walked 2 guys in the 9th inning alone yesterday. So I don't know. I there's a part of me that believes it's easier today to throw a no-hitter because of the swing and miss and the low averages.
Strike zone was way bigger back in the day.
Which would make it harder today.
Correct. It was way bigger. You watch Livan Hernandez's, I think it was no-hitter against the Braves like 20 years ago.
Yeah, he was getting like 4 inches outside.
I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, and that might be a good argument. Again, I don't know the answer. It crossed my mind because, again, it feels like guys are flirting with it. I'll say this, though. If we ever go, which we're probably going to go, even though I don't like it, to a robotic system, like, I don't think we'll ever have no-hitters. The hitters are so good that if they know, like, these guys already know where to strike. The doubt that sometimes gets presented is the umpire's zone, right? If they know what's coming, it's going to be really hard with all the different things. One, guys don't go as deep, and two, the ERAs are going to go up anyway. So you're just the batting average is going to go up if we get a robotic umpire. So it's kind of fascinating. I think real quick, just to a little bit support or maybe not support. I don't know which way this is going to go. So I did look up all the different guys that had 2+ no hitters. And so where would you put these guys, in old category or new? And count them up. Nolan Ryan, old. Koufax, older. Verlander, new. Bob Feller, old. Cy Young, old. Some guy named Larry Corcoran, I probably should know. 1880, 1882, and 1884, by the way. That guy was really good.
Pretty old.
Fires in 15 and 19.
Mike Friars?
Yep.
Okay.
Had 2.
Wow.
Had 2.
It's a guy with a career 6 ERA.
Arrieta, 2.
6.
Scherzer, 2. Lincecum, 2. Homer Bailey,
Another
2.
sixer.
Dope. Roy Halladay, 2. Burley, 2. Randy Johnson, a couple. Hideo Nomo, Bob Forsch, back in 78 and 83. Steve Busby, Bill Stoneman, Ken Holtzman. Those are all older guys.
So we're at 10-11 right now.
Don Wilson, Jim Maloney, Jim Bunning, Warren Spahn, Carl Erskine, Virgil Trucks, great name, Allie Reynolds, Johnny Vandermeer, back-to-back, by the way, which is very cool, only one to do it, Dutch Leonard, Eddie Joss, Frank Smith, Christy Mathewson, Theodore Breitenstein, never heard of him, Adonis Terry, Al Atkinson, and Paul Pud Galvin. Pud. Back in 1880. So again, these are a lot of guys.
25 olds.
I counted, it was about 8. 8 since 2007.
Okay, yeah.
So in the last 15 years, there's been 8 guys that have had multiple.
Right.
But in this thing, 27 in the previous 120 years.
Right.
Again, I'm not sitting here trying to prove a point. I think it's pretty wild that you can go across 140 years of baseball, 150 years of baseball, and you're still getting these guys throwing no-hitters either at a similar rate or maybe even a higher rate, even though nobody now goes complete games. So somebody would really have to deep dive the study. I didn't look into all that. I'm sure somebody has.
Yeah.
But the swing and miss and the batting averages, to me, lend you to have more of these kind of performances. The other thing, I don't know if you watched that inning. We were watching the last inning live, Valdez.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, the 2-seam. The 2-seam is just like, he's thrown from the left side. It is, it was filthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you hit it. Like, I don't know how you did it. You take it and hope it's a ball because of the way it's leaking out. Some of the stuff these guys throwing is just amazing. I don't think we fully appreciate hitters anyway, and it's really hard to appreciate a 218 hitter.
Yeah, I would say so.
But
you're failing a lot.
Yeah, you're failing a lot.
So Willie Adameses of the world are so very productive, though. What's he hitting, 225?
Yeah, he bumped it up last night.
Oh,
yeah, he had a big night
worked.
last night.
Worked.
Mm-hmm.
Bad ball club we got.
Hamby, can we get a state of the address if the Brewers scrub you guys again tonight?
Yeah, I'll pre-record
Yes.
something and y'all can have it tomorrow.
Yes.
I have no idea what to believe anymore on the Ayuk front. Are you guys seeing some Steelers stuff with Brandon Ayuk? Or is this just some person just throwing it out there?
Sorry, man. I'm on my nature videos. Let me check that out quick.
Nature videos. What are we watching?
Lion eating a hippopotamus. So hippopotamus was dead, and this pride of lions was just going to town on this thing's skull. So it's like its skin and everything is done, and it's just like the skull. But the rest of the body's still there.
Really? They just
gnarly.
ate the head?
They just ate the head. Maybe some of the best meat. I don't know.
That's interesting. You just said that.
Haunting.
My father-in-law was just telling me over the weekend that they had there was a deer in the neighbor's yard, and the stomach was eaten out. And so they were like, well, what was it? They didn't know if there was like a bobcat or a whatever. And they said that the reasoning was maybe it just died naturally or it died by something else, but actually possums.
Okay. Well,
so the possum didn't kill the deer. But the possum actually, that's where they'll eat the meat from.
Okay, that makes sense. But I was also going to say, too, because I told this story before, way back in the old show, sometimes when you have a dead deer who's been laying around for a while, its stomach will explode. because it exploded in my mouth one time when I was dragging it for a homecoming prank. I've told this story before.
Yes, you did.
Yes. So maybe the stomach exploded.
And why is that? Do you remember why?
Because just like the gases and everything inside the stomach, they build up and there's nowhere for them to go. So it'll just explode out like the stomach. Like it'll just rip apart the stomach and juices everywhere. And spoiler alert, doesn't smell too good.
Probably doesn't. I wouldn't think it would.
You
know, hyenas, by the way, or coyotes, not hyenas, coyotes, like they would, the reason why they said it wasn't a coyote might have killed them, but they like the back of the leg. They like the deer legs.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? Like, it goes with what you're saying.
Everyone's got their own, like, listen, man, some people like drums, some people like flats. You know?
The lions like the hippo
so
head.
Andrew Filippani?
That's where I saw it.
He works from 93.7 fan. He's got 100,000 followers, Brent. Now, he's not verified. Doesn't have the Elon checkmark, but he's saying sources, the Steelers have a verbal agreement in place with the 49ers for Brandon Ayuk. All the terms of the deal and contract details are being hammered out now. The wide receiver is coming to Pittsburgh. This is according to some kind of beat guy in Pittsburgh.
What's some kind of beat guy?
Called it last night.
What's Pretty Ricky saying? I mean, come on.
He's kind of gloating, saying like I told y'all.
Of course. Is he just claiming everything now?
Well, he's saying that he's retired because I guess he got a death threat or something. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be a 30 for 30 on Pretty Ricky.
By the way, they had a 30 for 30. I wasn't watching because I turned off the TV when I saw it. Dude Perfect.
Yeah.
The trick shot.
Yeah. 30 for 30 on them. They were popular.
We're really hurting for content, aren't we?
Popular. All right, we got to go. Scrap House tonight with Casey Kurtz and Austen Lane.
7 o'clock. See y'all there.
Update with Sir Weber up next on a Whataburger Wednesday. Have a good day.